Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. I can adjust as well, so.
Seems good.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Hey, we're here down at the blah, 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 really loud. Super loud. You're live?
Yes. Still live. Still live.
That's good. That's always good. Yeah. Okay.
Just watch your,
Maybe slightly angled so you can. Us this way? Yeah. Oh, just so you can get part of the. Hold on. You can go more that way, Ryan. Stop, stop. There.
Yeah, ish. We're going to watch the clock behind you, so.
3 minutes?
What's that?
3 minutes?
On in 3? Yeah.
Unless you want to go earlier.
No. That's fine.
Just after 20? Your audio's on.
Oh, yeah, it's on. So I guess like 20 or just after 20? Oh, I have to.
It's deja vu all over again. For the third straight year, the Okanagan Sun, the West Shore Rebels will meet in the BC Conference Cullen Cup Championship game. I'm Ryan Waters with Jay Christensen, Hall of Famer Jay Christensen, for the broadcast here between the Rebels and the Sun. And Jay, you've been in these kinds of games before. You've coached in these kinds of games. What's the atmosphere like coming in as a player, as a coach, into a championship game?
Well, the atmosphere is unlike any other game during the season, right? Like,
You know, the championships, it's something that the players will remember for a lifetime if they're fortunate enough to win. As a coach, you feel the weight of that. So, you know, it's just a different level of focus. It's a different level of vibe around the stadium. I've been here for a couple hours already, and even the fans coming in feel different. So as a coach, you feel that, right? And that's where you really got to try and calm the nerves and just get your guys ready to play.
So when do you feel that, though? Is it the week of practice, knowing that you won your semifinal game last week for both teams? And is it starting the Sunday after the game that the nerves start to tingle?
Yeah, it builds, right? I mean, you know, especially for the visiting team, because, you know, as a coach, players, we're all superstitious. So you don't really want to talk about the travel and having to narrow your roster down to 45 guys and decide, you know, make those roster decisions until you win, because you don't want to jinx anything, right? Or you know, heaven forbid, have the other team know that you guys are looking beyond them, right, for the locker room banter. So, you know, you're kind of focused on that game, but the minute it's over, the wheels start to spin. You know, your president, your general manager is coming to you, asking you questions they haven't asked you all year, and now you're forced into that. Okay, this is a bigger entity, right? All you're thinking is, hey, I want to watch the film. I want to, you know, break down, and I want to start building for that game. But it's now all the business decisions that have to be made.
I'm glad you mentioned the roster, because it does have to get cut down. And looking at the box scores from last week, the Rebels had some guys in different positions that had success. So did the Sun. So how do you decide? How do you decide this guy might be a good running back even though he's a defensive back?
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny, actually. It happens throughout the year. You get guys that are really good athletes and then turn out to be utility players, right? You know, the humorous side is you'll get offensive linemen that all year are lobbying to be the tight end in short yardage. Like, put me in, throw me the ball, I want to score a touchdown. But you know, you get into a situation, it always happens throughout the year, no matter how big your roster is, where you have a couple of guys that get banged up, and okay, we maybe don't have enough O linemen to, you know, to have a full practice, so you recruit some D linemen, and same thing with, you don't have enough running backs, so you always got a linebacker that's, hey, give me the ball in short yardage, right? So that kind of morphs throughout the year. So by this time of the year, you have a pretty good idea that, hey, if we need to go to an emergency third string quarterback, this is a guy that can chuck the ball. If we need to, you know, put somebody in at D-line, here's a guy that we can switch and can play out of position. So it's good. You know, the big X factor, and everybody loves to talk about offense and defense, but what usually gets a guy on that final 40 is how he plays on special teams.
Special teams, so important. You mentioned offense, defense, but that's the forgotten cousin, is the special team. So when you see a championship game and you know a little bit about the Rebels, a little bit more about the Sun, special teams wise, does it look like they're an even amount of talent on both sides?
I think there's an even amount of talent across the board with both these teams. They're both good football teams. You know, it was a battle last year in the Cullen Cup. It was a battle, you know, both games this year, and I expect it to be a battle today. So, you know, with a limited roster like that of 40 guys, they're going to be, all 40 of them are going to be talented football players.
So the players are a bit nervous, referees are a bit nervous. What about the coaching staff? And for Travis Miller, the head coach of the Sun, he's been here before. He's coaching a Canadian Bowl. You've been in this position. Mark Townsend, the head coach of the Rebels, he's not been in a championship game. But do nerves and maybe second guesses come into play as a first-year head coach?
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, like I said, a championship game at any level is a special thing, right? It doesn't matter if it's, you know, minor football, high school football, junior, college, CFL, NFL. Winning a championship means a lot. And so I'm sure, even though he's a first-year coach in this league, he understands that. Like, he understands the gravity of the game. What he probably doesn't understand is the short-term rivalry, right? You know, I mean, the Okanagan Sun have been fortunate enough that we always seem to be, you know, vying for this game or close to it. So whatever other team is playing well at the time becomes our rivals, right? The last 3 years it's been West Shore, there's no doubt. They're a great program. They're a great program right from the top, organizationally, to the coaching staff, to the players. So, you know, we knew, you know, in the back of our minds this was probably going to happen, as you said, for the third year. He doesn't get all that, right? All he understands is, hey, I got this group of guys that have been, you know, busting their humps all year to get here. As a coach, I don't want to screw that up, right? And so he's got all that pressure going on, just maybe not the gravity of the rivalry.
Last question really quickly. I want to ask you about the weather. It looks okay, but the field is wet. It's natural grass. West Shore deals with a lot of rain, but not necessarily with the turf because they have the turf field. Can the grass be a factor?
Yeah, it definitely will be a factor, and it's a factor even if it's not raining. These teams aren't used to playing on grass. It's a little bit of a slower game. You got to be a little bit more conscious of getting your feet under your frame when you're making a cut, and just to be able to stay up. So add the factor that the field's going to be wet. That definitely will make a difference. Hopefully it doesn't start to rain, because the biggest challenge is if the footballs get wet, right? If they skip off the grass, it's not as big a deal, but if they get waterlogged and you can't throw them, then it becomes a different game.
We're about 14 minutes away from the opening kickoff. Stick around, we'll have more kickoff show coming up.
Great. Okay, Bryce, first off, just want to know what the difference was between the team that finished the last few weeks of the regular season kind of battling adversity compared to the one we saw last weekend in Langley.
Yeah, well, we ended the season, I think, with 4 losses in the regular season. But, when you play the same team 3 times in a year, it's hard to lose every time you play them, right? And we were very confident. Every game that we've played against Langley and Okanagan has been close. And we were really confident last week that we were going to come out with the W.
Want to know, with kind of the monkey off your guys' backs that was that losing streak, what's the mood at practice this week leading up to the biggest game of the year?
Really just focus. The focus has changed. We've got the losses out of our system. We know what we need to do to beat this team, and I think we're really focused and determined to really pull out with this one.
As a returning player and a part of the team that won the Cullen Cup last year, I want to know about the rivalry with you guys in the Sun, because now it's been a few years running where you guys are at the top of the table battling to beat the top team. I just want to know what it means to go against those guys and the rivalry you guys have kind of formed over the years.
Yeah, well, you only want to play the best, honestly, and I think that it is a different game when you play the Sun, especially as the Rebels. It's just different. The energy on the field is different. Everyone plays their best, and it's just really exciting.
Lastly, what do you have to do to come away with the win this weekend?
What do we have to do, man? We have to stop the run. We have to stop the run. It might be raining there, but we really have to stop the run, and that's the end of the story.
That's it, right?
Okay. First off, how does it feel to get the opportunity to have a rematch against West Shore after the finals against them last year?
I love that question. It's going to be good. I'm excited for sure. They ended our season last year. Hopefully we can do the same.
How important is home field advantage in getting to play in front of the home crowd in the finals?
Really important for sure. I think we haven't lost the Apple Bowl in a while, so I don't plan on it now. The grass field's nice because we practice on grass, so we're going to be used to that, especially if it starts raining because we've been playing through the rain all week. And then the fans are great here, so it's going to be great.
Has the team prepared differently leading up to the championship this year than last year at all? Or?
A little bit different just because of the different guys we have on the team. It's going to be different every single year. And then different schemes that we got to play against. It's been a little bit different for sure.
Yeah.
But same old at the end of the day.
Yeah, how do you handle the pressure coming to a big game as one of the key players in a game like this?
Preparation. My saying, preparation builds confidence. I like that saying just because it's so true. You work out throughout the week. You work on the stuff that you need to. You watch film, practice hard, and it's all going to be easy going into the game.
Sweet. Any keys to beating West Shore this weekend?
Play hard, play physical, fly around.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, good luck this weekend.
All right.
Welcome back to the kickoff show. Ryan Waters, Jay Christensen here at the Apple Bowl as the West Shore Rebels have made their way on the field. It is the BC Conference Cullen Cup Championship game with the winner not only winning BC, but moving on to play somebody in the prairies, whether that is the Saskatoon Hilltops or the Regina Thunder in the CJFL National Semifinal game coming up next week. But first, we have to focus on this game. It's the Sun and the Rebels both winning their semifinals last week. The Rebels upsetting the number 2 Langley Rams 25-21. last week in Langley. The Sun taking care of business here against the Valley Huskers last week by the score of 50-19. I caught up with the head coach of the Okanagan Sun, Travis Miller, and asked him coming into this BC championship game, how are the nerves?
No nerves, just excitement.
Yeah. How about the week of preparation? What was it for the guys?
Yeah, I think this week in particular, when it's West Shore, we have that opportunity to take down a champion, and that's really the focus. And trying to make sure that, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And this opportunity presents itself this week, and we're all excited. Let's
look back at last week's win over the Valley Huskers. Did you think your team started maybe a little bit slow and had to pick it up again?
Yeah, I think, it's pretty inevitable coming off a bye week, especially going to the playoffs, that you're not going to come out firing the way that you would any other week. And then you couple to the fact that seems every time we face Chilliwack in the postseason, they have a great plan. Their coaching staff is incredible, so they put together a great plan of attack, and I think took advantage of what our weaknesses were.
Did you ever make a lot of adjustments during halftime last week?
Yeah, tons of adjustments during the game, at halftime, just trying to make sure that we give our guys the best opportunity to win and obviously turn in our favor late in that game.
Your defensive coordinator on this team is a former head coach of the West Shore Rebels and Shane Beatty. A lot of personnel on that team. Beatty brought in. Can he give you any insight to some of the strengths and weaknesses of those guys?
Yeah, I think so. He definitely knows the team inside and out. It doesn't necessarily make our guys play any differently. So you saw that in both the first two games that we played them. 33-30 come from behind win for us in West Shore. And, similar to what happened in 2022, we had the same kind of scenario and then come here and obviously we won at home. So I think he gives us the best chance to win, knowing both teams so well, and gives us a really good opportunity to win the championship.
Do you take a lot away from those games against West Shore during the regular season and implement them into this one?
You know what? I think we're going to look at it as an opportunity for us just to put the best foot forward in terms of what they did right, what they did what we did well, what we did wrong, and use that as the barometer and figure out what we have to do to adjust going into this game for sure. But last week their game against Langley really showed a different team, and that's really what we're focusing on.
Yeah. So how different did you see, or what did you see?
They went from a spread offense to a two-back tight end, 1970s type football team where they're just pounding you down the with the run. And I think that in itself just shows the character of the team. They're willing to get dirty, and Gio Lanuzzi's a phenomenal football player, playing all different things, special teams, offense, defense, flying around. You can't they don't make them like that anymore. So a guy like that is a pretty incredible player, and you're just trying to game plan for the best.
Do you anticipate him again carrying the ball, running the ball, punting the ball?
It sounds like they're going to ride their best guy. If they come out in that, we have to be prepared for it. If not, we got to be able to adjust, and that's kind of the way that the game will end up.
Defensively, is team healthy and ready to go once again this week?
I think we're the most healthy we've been in a number of years in this point. We have a few small nagging injuries, but nothing major. We were able to keep Noah healthy last week and get him out of the game early, which was nice, and it kind of put us in the best situation.
Did wet grass come into play at all?
Yeah, I think definitely the wet conditions. You're going to look at probably running the ball more, or throwing the ball more, depending on what your strength is as a team. But ultimately for us, it's just going to come down to executing.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
That is the head coach of the Okanagan Sun, Travis Miller, joining us for a couple of minutes here at the Apple Bowl as we get set for this one.
Thank you.
It is the Okanagan Sun. It is the West Shore Rebels for the third consecutive year. It should be a dandy here today. The weather, I don't know if it's really going to come into play. It is wet, there's no doubt. The field is wet, but we'll see. Both teams do have to deal with that situation, so we'll see if that comes into play at all here this afternoon. There's the Okanagan Sun on your screen making their way onto the field. There's that orange and brown for the Sun on their way out to the Apple Bowl turf. The West Shore Rebels are going to be wearing white jerseys with their red pants here this afternoon. I got a chance to catch up with the head coach, Mark Townsend, of the West Shore Rebels, and first start off our conversation saying, well, welcome to Kelowna.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
The BC championship game, nice feather in your cap, year one as the head coach, and you come in and you're playing for a provincial championship. Good feeling. Is this where you want to be?
Well, it's not about me, Brian. It's about the players. I'm really proud of the performance that they put on last week. They showed a lot of resilience against a very good Langley team, that had beaten us the two previous times. So very proud of this group of players.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about last week, because the upset win, the 25-20 win or 21 win against the Rams. What did you see from your club?
Again, just a lot of resilience and a lot of composure on the sidelines, and just being able to play smart. I think one of the things that we've been able to do is reduce the number of penalties and have that physical brand of football, but also be very, very smart. But there was a lot of composure on the sidelines, and really all three facets of the game. Defense made some great stops. Offense scored when they had to, and we had some really good special teams play as well.
Was there a moment of play in that game where you thought, hey, we have a chance to beat these guys?
Well, you always have that mindset. On any given day you come in and I believe in this team. There's no quit on this team.
That is the head coach of the West Shore Rebels, Mark Townsend. Let's go downstairs for the national anthem.
Our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. In glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
All right, the national anthem is in the books. It's Ryan Waters and Jay Christensen getting set for the Sun and the Rebels in this BC Conference Cullen Cup Championship game. My apologies for cutting that interview with head coach Mark Townsend a little bit short, but we had to get to the national anthem, and Coach Townsend went on to say that he's just so proud of his players for overcoming the adversity last week, beating the Langley Rams in Langley, which is not easy to do. Now they're the 3rd seed. They come here to Kelowna. They face the Sun for the 3rd consecutive season in this championship game. And Jay, as you mentioned off the top of our broadcast down there on the field, these two teams have a rivalry already, and we saw some of the players jawing back and forth as the Sun players were coming on the field with their flag and coming out of the end zone. West Shore, I don't know if they like that very much, but they certainly saw a little chirping down there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that as an opposing team you kind of have to have to deal with. You have to see. Over the years, I've seen a lot of reaction to it. Some teams will actually turn their back and not watch it. As a home team, you're in their heads when they do that.
Yeah.
Other ones will chatter a little bit, which is a personality thing. It's just something you're going to deal with when you're the traveling team. And you mentioned how they went into Langley and beat them at McLeod Stadium last week, which is no easy feat. But that makes them road warriors. So it's not like they're coming in here and have been in the friendly confines of Starlight Stadium, and then all of a sudden they're on the road. So it's something they expected, and they want to obviously put their stamp on, at least at the beginning of the game.
And do you, as a player or a coaching staff, need something to happen at the beginning of the game to get your troops comfortable that it's just another game? There's a celebrity kickoff down here with the mayor of Kelowna, Tom Dias, the ceremonial kickoff, and the commissioner of the CGFL is here. So there's some bigwigs here. Players recognize that, so they're on a heightened alert already. So is there a play, something that needs to happen right off the hop to say, okay, this is just another football game?
Yeah, well, it's usually the first play that as a player you're out there, right? So
Okay.
the guys, a lot of teams will put kickoff out at the beginning of the game because they want their guys running down the field and being able to lay a lick, and that gets them into the game. But if you're an offensive player or a defensive player, you're going to kind of feel that nerves. You'll see them a little bit more, animated on the bench, moving around a little bit more. But really, once they get out there and run that first play, it just becomes a football game.
So many interesting stories within the game as well. The defensive coordinator of the Sun, Shane Beattie, former head coach of the West Shore Rebels. A lot of the guys on this roster, Beattie recruited and brought in. Now he's on the Sun trying to stop those guys that he brought in. So there's all these little sidebars that make a championship game like this a little bit more exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And when you have two programs that know each other, that's going to happen. And,
Yeah.
it's the level of, quality of players and coaches in this league just keeps getting better and better. As we talked in the pregame show, they both have tremendous athletes on their side, but very strong coaching staffs. And you see that a lot at the professional level, where coaches will move from one team to another, and there's usually good camaraderie after the game on the field. I'm sure we'll see that today, no matter what the outcome. But that just becomes part of the game when you've got good coaches that just happen to move teams.
Well, it looks like the Sun are going to open up with the football. The Sun 10-0 during the regular season. They scored at a pace of 39 points a game, allowed only 13 for the Rebels. They were 5-5, allowed 23 points, but also scored over 30 points a game. So offenses that can put up points could put up points in a hurry because of the athletes that they have on both sides. So the Rebels from your right side going to the left with their white jerseys, red pants, red helmets, the Sun in their brown tops and their orange helmets and orange pants. We're getting this Conference Cullen Cup Championship game about to be underway. Not sure. The kicker, Lanuzzi, saw some pre-game movement, and now we're finally underway. The kickoff in the direction of that back corner. It's going to bounce into the end zone out of bounds, and it'll be a touchback, and the Sun will bring out their offense. It should be interesting to see a rookie quarterback in Marek Filipek getting his first playoff start.
Yeah, they, from I think a special teams perspective, not the best outcome having it fly through the back of the end zone like that. But as mentioned, my guess is we're going to see probably a run first play. The coaches of the Okanagan Sun might try and get a little bit tricky and think that everybody's going to be expecting that. But my guess is they would just want to get that ball moving forward on the first play of the game, get a little bit of momentum, get a little pop in the pads.
And Liam Kroger is going to start this game, so I jumped a little bit before I saw him come on the field. Marek Filipek not getting the start. The BC Conference Rookie of the Year starts on the bench, so Kroger, the starting quarterback for the Sun, in a shotgun with the orange tape around both his ankles. Elian Noah in the backfield. He'll get the opening handoff. He'll go right up the middle. Noah bounces off a couple of tacklers and gets to the 45, the 46 before he's knocked down. Good first run by Noah.
Now there's some flags down. It looked like the left end for the West Shore Rebels jumped. We'll have to wait for the call for sure that somebody didn't flinch on the Okanagan Sun O-line, but it does look like they're going to stick with the first down.
Here comes the official. Penalty is declined. His microphone possibly not working. We were hoping to have it here on our board upstairs, but I guess not. So an 11-yard pickup for Noah. It stands 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line. And they'll hand the ball here to Noah. He'll go up the middle again. Noah gets to the 50, not much further after that. Pick up about 4 to be 2nd and 6. And it is a point for the Rebels right on that opening kickoff. So the Rebels take a 1-0 lead.
This is the as a play caller, this is the fun time here. You got the ball in the middle of the field. You're not deep in your end, so you can be a little bit more aggressive with the play calling. Again, with the Okanagan Sun, they could have made up their mind at this point in the field to be 3-down football. They're obviously too far for a field goal. May not want to punt it in this situation with a dominant run game. It might be just give them the ball 3 times.
2nd and 5. Kroger back to pass, has his man, has the reception. Krummelach gets his first catch of the Cullen Cup. The former VI Raider quarterback makes the reception and has enough for a first down.
Yeah, good play call there. I was expecting a run. Maybe the defense was expecting a run. They just ran a little RPO, which is a run-pass option, and dumped the ball for an easy first down.
There's a replay. Kroger. Krummelach just kind of sat down in that zone right there and made the reception. Got about 6, maybe 7 on the play. It's 1st and 10 inside Rebel territory at the Rebel 52. Kroger in a shotgun. Fakes to Noah. Looking deep. He's going to go near sideline. Has his man. That is caught at the 35 and forced out of bounds. Making his first reception is Ty Walker. He made 1 reception last week. Gets another one here. He gets a first down as well.
Yeah, Ty Walker's a receiver out of Rutland, the Rutland senior football team, and talking to the coaches, they say that he's one of the best athletes on the team. Like he's was a little bit hampered injury-wise early in the season, but that's a guy they've got sky-high hope for going forward.
They'll set the ball up at the 34-yard line of the Rebels, right hash. 4 receivers to Kroger's left. He's got 1 to the right side. That would be Marcus Burden. Man in motion, and they fake it to Noah. Roll out, make the Pass to Falconer. Falconer will dive for the pylon, and he doesn't get in. The referee says he's knocked out of bounds just before the goal line.
Yeah, again, really doing a good job, I think, of changing up the plays. Again, everybody, I think, expected number one to carry the ball a number of times on the first drive, and he had two great runs, and I think that set up the pass was the fact that he ran the first one for 12, the second one for 5. You can see that on that drive, the linebackers, which is the second line of defense, so to speak, for Victoria or for West Shore, were 1 yard off the ball, so they'd walk them up. Specifically trying to take the the running game away, and that really puts a lot of pressure on your defensive backs.
So the jumbo package has been brought in. Noah's going to be the quarterback in the Wildcat. Noah will fake the toss. He'll keep it himself, get into the end zone for a touchdown. So a good opening drive for Liam Kroger, who got the start and marches them all the way down to the end zone.
Yeah, no, definitely job done. You get the ball and you can march all the way down the field like that and really make plays at will. As an offense, it gives you a lot of, obviously, momentum going forward. The challenge now for the West Shore defense is, hey, we worked all week in a specific package to try and take away those runs. They obviously have the ability to mix it up, so how are we going to now adjust?
The extra point just squeaking over the crossbar. So the Sun take their first lead of this conference championship game. It's now 7-1 after the opening kickoff went through the end zone for the single point. But that's a good point, Jay. You prepped so much for the run game, and L. Leonoa set a new BC conference record for rushing. He's got 20 whatever touchdowns on the ground. Oh, now we have to defend a pass?
Yeah. Well, as mentioned, on that drive, West Shore had their linebackers right up on the line of scrimmage to take that away. And if you look at yourself as a defensive back trying to cover those receivers, those linebackers are your safety cushions. You know that receivers typically don't want to go over the middle because they're going to get popped. If you take them out of there, and now I got to, as a defensive back, cover a two-way go, puts a lot of pressure on them.
So the Sun will tee it up at the 45. Back deep for the West Shore Rebels, Lyndon Williams, and also Isaiah Booton, waiting patiently, hovering around their own 10-yard line.
And this is the part that's going to get really exciting as we spoke of earlier with the 40-man rosters. All these guys are starters on their football team now, so the excitement, the speed of the special teams just picks up that much more.
Booton goes right up the middle with a head of steam and gets all the way to the 40. Great return for Isaiah Booton. With 3 interceptions last week in Langley, takes this kickoff, goes right up the middle, gets the great blocking, and punches through that hole with a great burst of speed.
Yeah, great design by West Shore there. I don't think he got hit till he was at about the 35-yard line. So, obviously lined that up, and everybody had a body on a body.
So here come the Rebels offense for the first time, looking to respond. Ethan Pickert, the quarterback. 14 of 24 for 278 last week in Langley. They hand the ball off here to the running back. Lanuzzi still on his feet, fighting for yards, picks up 9. Good run there by Gio Lanuzzi.
Yeah, there was, again, some debate with the Okanagan Sun about what they would come out with. They were a little bit more of a spread team throughout the season, but against Langley, they showed up in a 2-back set. So we have a traditional fullback, which a lot of teams don't run anymore, and then tailback behind it. And that could have been a field condition type of decision. So we're not running routes downfield on slippery grass, or just they found success against Langley last year and thought, hey, let's keep running it and force them to stop us.
Easton Fensky, a great defensive back for the Sun, who had 3 interceptions last week against Valley, was down to a knee. He's being escorted off the field by the trainer under his own power, as you can see on your screen there. That would be a big loss. With a very good passing game from Pickard and Rebels and company. Pickard, 2,311 yards on the season with 16 touchdowns. He was hampered by injury late in the season, but came back big time last week with 278 yards against that very good Rams secondary in their semifinal victory. So 2nd and 1. Lanuzzi will get the ball again, and he's hit and knocked backwards. Jacob Bond, the BC Conference Defensive Player of the Year, got to him first and knocked him backwards.
I think that's I don't know if it's too early to get on the officials, but it looked like a bit of a generous spot there. But, in Canadian football, it's awful tough to to stop a team on 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1. So Victoria or West Shore is going to leave their offense out there, and this should be fairly routine.
It was Dylan Remillard who made the actual initial hit, not Bond, who made the tackle. He's a BC Conference All-Star. Pickard will pick up the first down as he falls forward. But you're right, a bit of a generous spot. And on the 3rd down conversion, it works. Rebels have a new set of downs as they place the ball about the 52-yard line, 1st and 10 Rebels.
Yeah,
Nothing fancy about that one, is it?
Nope, and that's something you spend a lot of time doing as a coach and as a team, is working on your short yardage, because again, in the Canadian game, you get that yard, it should be routine.
Pickard will hand it here to Lanuzzi again. Lanuzzi hit at the line of scrimmage and knocked backwards. A plethora of Sun defensive players breaking through the line and knocking him backwards for a loss.
Yeah, it's interesting strategy. You know, the Okanagan Sun came out and said, hey, you know what we're about, and we're going to mix it up a little bit. West Shore came out and said, hey, we're going to pound the ball. Now we're in a 2nd and 10. You know, we've had to get out of that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust to more of a long distance play.
Pickard goes up under center. They're going to fake to Lanuzzi. First time we see Pickard attempt to pass. He rolls out, has a man down the sideline, and going right through his hands is Ramirez Arvelo. Couldn't bring it in, but he was wide open.
Yeah, it was a great route down the field. That would have been a pretty tough catch on a day like today. I mean, he definitely had it on his fingertips, but he was going flat out. Great route. You had him wide open. I think the Sun coaches are going to be talking to their defensive end there about such a free pass for the quarterback rolling, because he's such a good athlete. If you let him do that all day, it's going to turn into a bit of a long afternoon.
Lanuzzi, good high spiral kick, chasing Falconer back to his own 15. He has it, but great field coverage by the Rebels, hustling down there, aided by that booming kick by Lanuzzi.
Yeah, he got the ball to turn over. I've obviously never been a kicker, but the kicker vernacular, if you can get the football to turn over, it really will sail. And his opening kickoff was into the end zone and a great punt. So I think special teams are really going to be a factor today. You want to be able to flip that field. So job done by the offense. We got the ball back on the 15, and now obviously it's going to be up to their defense to try and slow the Okanagan Sun down.
So 1st and 10 for Kroger and company. Got Noah in the backfield. They hand here to Noah, stiff arm, and he goes absolutely nowhere. Good pursuit by the Rebel defense, able to break through the line, get to Noah very quickly, and made the tackle.
Yeah, they swarmed to the ball well that time. There was no hole to go through. I think he was hit. It was hard from this angle, but I think he was hit in the backfield, and that's the key really to stopping any running back, is if we can get his momentum stopped really before he gets going. Elelian is so dangerous when he gets into the backfield.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Kroger going to go to the air. Looking down the field, hit as he throws. Long ball looking for Falconer, but he throws it over his head. Walker throws it out of bounds. It'll be quick 2 and out. Good defensive stand for the Rebels.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Like I said, with a strong kicking game, they flipped the field, and we're able to get the Okanagan Sun into a 2 and out, and now the punt team for the Sun are going to be tasked to do the same thing and try and get this ball back into the Rebel half of the field.
It was a long throw by Kroger, too. Watching the replay on that, he threw that away a long way. So back at his own goal line. Sorry, Jay.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say that's the benefit of having like 2 different style quarterbacks.
And the punter, Hay, will just take a knee. So another couple of points put up on the board for the Rebels. It's now 7-3 with 8:09 remaining in this opening quarter.
And that's a great example of the importance of a championship football game. If that was regular season, I'm willing to bet that Coach Travis Miller would have punted that ball and put his defense out there to task them as stopping it. But obviously it's a little bit more important. Every point is more important. Every yard is more important.
Sure.
So, that's I know that's not a light decision on the sideline whether to give up a safety or not. It's usually highly debated, and I know the Okanagan Sun directors will be debating it tomorrow as well around the coffee table, but I think it was the right call.
So 1st and 10 for Pickard and company. We see him in a shotgun for the first time. Pickard going to go to the air. Pickard going down the field. That one tipped and knocked it down. Incomplete. Good job by the All-Star and Kean Williams knocking it away.
I think
Kenley Williams, pardon me.
Kenley Williams, yeah. I think if you you were to ask the Sun, I think they're comfortable in a throwing game. I think their defensive secondary was one of the strengths on this football team. So, it's always, there's always chance for a penalty or a big play if they're putting the ball downfield. But I think they're comfortable in coverage.
That was David Lewis, by the way, that knocked that one away. So 2nd and 10 from their own 35. Going to shotgun for Pickard. Going to go back to pass. Pickard ducks out of the way one tackler. Now he's going to take off and caught from behind. And it's going to be a 3rd down and long for the Rebels.
That's one thing, Coach Beattie has this defense doing, and that's playing relentless. Quite often when the quarterback pops through the defensive line like that and into the backfield, the defensive backfield, somebody's stepping up to make that. But that he was run down from behind by a defensive lineman, and you're going to see that all day. Those guys rallying to the football.
Anderson Uzma knocking him down. This punt is going to angle towards the Sun bench and take a left-hand turn around the 34-yard line, go out of bounds, and that's where the Sun offense will take over. Much better field position than their last possession. Yeah,
they gained, I'm going to say probably 20 yards by giving up that safety. So hopefully, their expectation is they're going to march the ball now and kind of get back into the Rebels side of the field.
1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line, 7:04 remaining in the opening quarter. 7-3 Sun with the lead. Kroger to shotgun. Tristan Pennell this time in the backfield. First time he has entered and his first carry of this championship. He'll try the left side. Has a little bit of room, gets to the 40 and knocked down about the 42-yard line. Good run by Pennell.
Yeah, they were the front 7 of the Rebels were playing a little bit more off the linebackers that time, so it allowed Tristan to get up to speed. Tristan's I think a little not undervalued, but underviewed on from a fan perspective, because you have a guy that's shattered all the records. But I know when I was coaching last year, he was a great performer carrying the football, and he's stepped up to the task every time he's been asked.
So 2nd and 1, flags fly. Kroger in a shotgun gets the snap, tries to get the first down. Looks like where he is, he should have it. But, of course, with flags fly, we'll have to see exactly what that situation's all about.
Yeah, and again, that could be big game excitement by the D-line of the Rebels. It looks like twice now they've jumped across the line of scrimmage. And that's where a veteran quarterback like Liam comes into play here. He's probably adjusting his snap count a little bit. So they got their ears pinned back, and they're trying to come after him and trying to, as mentioned, stop the run game. And he's just adjusting his snap count and getting them just a little off balance, which can only help the offense.
So after the penalty, they put the ball at the 47-yard line of the Sun. 1st and 10 with 6:02 remaining opening quarter. Noah back in the ball game as well. Receiver in motions, Melanson. Snap to Kroger. Kroger going to fade to his left side. Now he'll have to bring it down, and he takes a big pop there by the Rebels defense, able to come across and make the hit.
Yeah, again, they're doing a pretty good job, trying to keep the Rebels off balance. He had a receiver open, but just as he was about to pull the trigger, he slipped on the grass. We talked about it pregame about trying to keep your feet inside your frame. It's even more important as a receiver making a cut. Your natural tendency is to get that foot out wide to kind of cut off, and that's when it slips out from underneath you if you stretch too far.
Gain of 1, so 2nd and 9 for Kroger and company. High snap brings it down. Kroger short pass. This one is caught. Bouncing off the tackler is Kromelak, who with a second effort could have a first down.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the spot. It looks like he does. It's right straight in front of me. So I think he has it. And the pass there was a little bit behind the receiver. I think it kind of surprised the defender that was trailing him, and he expected the receiver to catch it and be running away from him, and it spun him right back into the collision. And and just unable to wrap up because I really think it kind of surprised him.
Okunola had him, lost him, and it was a first down pickup by Trommelot. So 1st and 10 back in Rebel territory at their 53. Kroger takes the snaps, fakes it to Noah. Looks like a broken play. Kroger will keep it himself, move forward, pick up maybe 4 on the play. So a broken play that turns into something positive for the Sun.
Yeah, and that's, Liam is such a good athlete that he, if he gets a crack, he's going to turn it into something positive. They ended up bringing the defensive halfback, number 19 for the Rebels, right into where they wanted to throw the football. So I think Liam, turned out, looked at his receiver and had number 19 free coming right at him. So he made a smart decision, which is just pull the ball down and get some positive yards.
Aiden Bytel was able to jump that in front of him there. So 2nd and 7. Here's a screen pass over to Noah, who has it and gets down inside the 40. Ruther with the tackle, but not before he picks up the first down. And they'll place the ball at about the 36-yard line.
Again, it's a great job of play calling. I sound like a bit of a broken record this quarter, but they're doing a really good job. The play before that had the Rebels were in the right defense for was, they were trying to attack the flats on the the offensive right. That time they did the exact opposite and attacked the flats on the offensive left. So they're just spreading that Victoria or the West Shore defense out.
And off here to Noah, he slips and falls this time as the turf monster got him. Maybe a gain of 1. And Cody McMahon able to lay on him to make sure he doesn't go any further.
Yeah, so here's another interesting situation for a head coach. So you're in what I would think would be the outer limits of field goal range. You don't really want to punt from here because now you're punting into the end zone, and again, you could potentially give up a point. You don't gain a whole lot. They would get the ball at I believe, the 25. So this could be 3rd down territory. So you may see another run. You may see a short pass. You don't have to get all 8 yards on one go here if the head coach has made a decision to be in 3-down territory.
Not sure what the delay is, but the officials came in blowing the whistle. They didn't move the ball at all. They just went in for a small conversation and placed the ball at the 35. At a 2nd and 9. Kroger in a shotgun again, looking left. Now down the middle, has his man. It is cut. That's Melanson inside the 10 and gets to about the 7-yard line. 1st and 10. Well, they got 8 yards and more there, Jay.
Yeah, they did. Again, they were more intermediate routes, so I don't know if that was necessarily the goal was to go for it all at once. But again, Liam did a great job reading. Sam's a fantastic inside receiver. He's got a great feel for soft spots in the defense. And, you look at that play, he was probably only going half speed the whole time, but he got right to where he needed to be when he needed to be there. And shed another tackle. So far, this Rebels team in this quarter haven't been able to make the initial stop when the first tackler gets there. So 1st and goal from the 7. They hand it to Noah. Noah will try the left side. He's met at the 5, maybe gets to the 4. It'll be 2nd and goal. Initially hit by Cole Bunting. He stopped Noah. Looks like you can hear right there. Yeah, he made the initial stop. Sorry, Jay. That's okay. It looks like they're bringing out their short yardage team, their jumbo team again. This just presents so many problems for a defense. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say obviously throwing the ball isn't one of them, but you've got a couple of power backs in the backfield. You got Noah getting the direct snap that really could go either way with lead blockers. I haven't seen Noah throw a ball yet this year, but I would not bet against that young man.
He's got some big boys to his right with Boltzma and Hickingbottom. Bond in the backfield as well. They fake it to Bond. Noah slips and falls. Doesn't quite fall, but the Rebels defense is there to meet him. They were not fooled whatsoever, and they stop Noah.
No, that's this is a play. It looked to me like they were trying to set up an option to the left. The first item is the defense wasn't fooled at all. Like they had it strung out. They had bodies on bodies, so I don't think that was going to be a successful play, even if Noah didn't slip. Again, that's something that the coaches are going to adjust to and say, hey, with the grass being this slippery and the potential for that to happen. Let's get a little bit more north and south.
It was Booten that made the hit on Noah, didn't let him squirt out for that tackle. So a 13-yard field goal attempt by Atwood, the kicker for the Okanagan Sun. His kick is partially blocked. It is blocked into the end zone, jumped on by the Rebels. A good job by West Shore to get some hands up and block that field goal. I thought maybe the ricochet would have went through the upright, but
yeah, I thought so too. It's hard to say where the ball landed in the end zone. It looks like it must have just squirted wide right a little bit.
It was Ruther that came through. Bryce Ruther with the block. Now the referees are talking things over at the 7-yard line.
And there's a couple of flags down in the defensive backfield, and
there's one near sideline as well. Sorry.
Oh yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
a lot of flags on the field.
Yeah,
right
the
now.
ones in the backfield usually mean that there was in the defense there was too many men on the field, like an illegal substitution.
Offside. I really wish that microphone worked from the official. Perhaps he didn't turn it on.
Yeah, so it's it looked like I didn't see the signal for the offense, but it looked like defense was either lined up offside or jumped again. Potentially the guy that blocked the kick might have
sure
might have got a little bit of a head start. I didn't see the signal for the offense, but the benefit for the Sun is just to repeat the down.
Yeah, so Atwood has another opportunity for a field goal attempt again from 13 yards. Ball at the left hash. Bird in the holder. The kick is up, and it is good this time. And a 13-yard field goal from Atwood extends the Sun lead to 10-3, and that's the last play of the opening quarter.
The offense is going to feel like they left points on the board that time. Obviously, getting down inside the 5 before being pushed back and having to kick a field goal. Again, I think the Rebels have to be happy that even though that was a bit of a march and the offense has the Sun offense has been able to move it, but to be able to keep it within one score, I know at this time of year, or at this point of the game, you're thinking, is it that important? But it's always a boost if you're the team that's behind and you know that one big play can get you back on top is a big boost mentally for the Rebels.
We'll take a 30-second break after the first quarter. It's 10-3 for the Okanagan Sun. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. First play of the second quarter. Lanuzzi had the handoff, made some good yardage, but then was hit and fumbled the football. But it looks like the Rebels re-got it.
Yeah, they, again, the pursuit of the defense just strung that out. He broke a couple of tackles. He's a big, strong running back. He's not one of your kind of like water bug slashy guys.
He's a defensive back by trade.
Yeah. But he's strong, and he's strong on his feet, so he ran through a couple of tackles. But if you go east and west on this defense, they'll track you down. They'll pursue.
Gain of nothing, so 2nd and 10. Pickard again from under the center, going to go back to pass, throwing down the middle, and it's incomplete. Dangerous looking pass by Pickard, who was hit as he threw the football, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
I tell you, they've got athletes that you got to know where they are. Jacob Bond on the defense is a guy that you got to account for, and it didn't look like they'd moved him outside the tackle from his usual spot, kind of right in front of the football, and as a linebacker they moved him out wide, but he got a pretty good lick on the quarterback there, and they're going to have to pay attention to him.
Lanuzzi will go back to kick from his own 20-yard line. Falconer back deep for the Sun. Good high kick by Lanuzzi, the former soccer player. At his own 35, this is Falconer. Sheds one tackle, gets to the 40, the 45, and he's hit around the 50-yard line. Good return by Falconer, who's able to get away from the initial stop and gets out to the 50.
Yeah, it's definitely advantage return team on a field like this. You know, you get as long as the ball stays dry and it's easy to catch, it doesn't take a major move to beat that first line because it's just so hard for them to break down.
Gotcha.
And, you know, another great kick by the Rebels. Lanuzzi's, you know, we talked in the pregame about shortened rosters and less players and players having to do more. You know, that's exactly what we were speaking about is a guy like that. You know, you could play him literally at any position on this field. I'm sure if you lined him up at defensive end and told him to get a quarterback, he'd do it.
1st and 10 for Kroger from his own 50-yard line. Going to go back to pass. Kroger going down the far sideline. This one is intercepted. What a pick by Cameron Cullen. Got position and got the interception.
Yeah, I don't know if that ball just sailed a little bit inside on Liam. You know, the receivers got position to the sideline, and typically what you do is you teach a receiver to run down the top of the numbers so the quarterback has all that yardage to the sideline to drop the ball, and the defender would have to actually come through the receiver to make a play. But that ball was thrown inside the defensive back where the receiver had the position outside. So again, it was either a mix-up in call or the ball just got away from him.
So first turnover of the ball game goes to the Rebels, and they trail by 7. Over 13 minutes to go, opening half. 1st and 10 from their own 26. Pickard will hit his receiver on the far sideline, but Lewis right there to stuff Zion Brown and make the tackle for either a short gain or nothing at all.
Yeah, it was a great play by the defense. Zion Brown's another one of those players that you want to get the ball into his hands and he's going to make something happen. He's a great athlete. So, you know, what they were looking for there is a nice short high completion pass, but hoping he's going to break a tackle and get some positive yards there. And great play by the corner to wrap up and not allow that to happen.
Lewis said no way. Brown 4 receptions for 127 yards last week against the Rams secondary. Pickard back to pass again. Pickard's pass is incomplete as flags fly. Looking for Lyndon Williams on a slide, but couldn't make the reception. However, it's a holding call, it looks like initially, and then the side judge comes in and waves it off. Yeah, see what the official says.
Well, there was an offside, so I'm just not sure who it was on. Oh, both on the Rebels. Yeah, that's tough. You know, again, you know, the Okanagan Sun has been moving the ball. You get a great play to make an interception, and then come out and, you know, really shoot yourself in the foot by taking 2 penalties.
We're still not getting the sound from the official. The offsides decline. The holding is accepted. It'll be 2nd and long now. Why would you accept this penalty after the 2nd down play was incomplete? If you wave them both off, isn't that 3rd down? Oh, there we go.
Yep.
And they decline the hold instead of giving the Rebels another opportunity.
The only reason you would take a penalty like that is if it's a dead ball penalty that doesn't affect the down, right? You know, if there's an unnecessary roughness or a face mask or something like that, it would still be 3rd down and you take the penalty. But any penalty that resets the down, you'll want to decline, especially down here.
Joe Lanuzzi, the kicker, will come back out for the Rebels.
At some point, if if field goal distance becomes a factor, you may do it, but typically you want to put him in a 3rd down spot.
Lanuzzi kick, another high one, angled over to Gage Parker. Parker has it. Their flags fly. This will be no yards as Parker makes the reception, gets to about the 50, not much further after that, but we'll see if this is the 5-yard variety or the 15.
It will be the 15-yard variety. Anytime the ball's caught in the air, it's 15. If it bounces, it's 5 yards. That was actually in the CFL, the gizmo rule, because what teams would do is saying he's so dangerous, we're going to take the 5 yards and hit him. Like, don't even worry about it. So they added the 15-yard variety if the ball's in the air. If it's on the ground, it's 5 yards unless a player doesn't try to, like if it's an intentional, so the ball's laying on the ground and he goes, I'm just going to break the 5 yards and hit him, then he'll get a 15-yard variety. But
gotcha.
Typically, it's 15 in the air, 5 on the ground.
Did you play with Gizmo? You did, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
pretty good athlete.
He was an exciting player. You know what?
Yeah.
I was never that guy, but I was fortunate enough to play with a few of them and coach a few of them that when they had a ball in their hands, everybody in the stadium sat on the edge of their seat.
Yeah.
You could feel it in a CFL stadium that fans would hold their breath.
So 1st and 10 for the Sun offense. Kroger, a quarterback keeper. He will get maybe a yard. Interesting play call there after the penalty. It put them in Rebel territory at the Rebel 49. They run a quarterback draw and don't get much from it.
Yeah, you know, that could be one of those plays. I mean, anytime, you know, the offense does something and not hand the ball to number one, it gives the defense something to think about. Again, you know, they have lots of faith in Liam and his athleticism to make plays. It also could be one of those plays that, hey, you know, our quarterback just went out there and threw a pick. We're going to give him a play that's no decision, you know, get your head back in the game.
2nd and 9 for Kroger. Kroger hits his receiver. That's Melanson, makes a move, gets to the 35, and then ridden out of bounds at about the 32. Ruther with the push out of bounds. That's another 1st down for the Okanagan Sun.
Yeah, you know, it's actually, on a side note, it's turning out to be a beautiful day. The sun's come out. Yeah, it's a great day for football, but that's a good decision by Liam. Again, he had guys running down the field, but, you know, I had Sam sitting down in the zone again. It's, you know, his strong suit, sure-handed, and Liam really likes to zip that ball, so it's a high percentage play.
1st and 10 from the Rebel 33-yard line. Noah slips and falls again. Hits about the 30-yard line, so it'll be a pickup of 3. At 1st and down, pardon me, 2nd down. At about 7. No one's going to have to change his cleats next time out there.
Yeah, it's too bad he slipped because by having Liam in there, he's much more apt to run the ball. And the defensive end at the play call had to get wider and had to respect Liam running the ball. So it opened up a huge hole for Noah. But, you know, I guess you grew up playing football in San Diego. You're not used to slippery grass.
That's right. 2nd and 7.
I would have liked to do that.
Grew up in San Diego?
Yeah.
Kroger's going to put it under his arm and take off. Get to the 30, the 25. Takes a big hit. Holds on to the football. Ruther again in on a tackle. He'd be short of the 1st down by about a yard and a half, and we'll see what the call is from head coach Miller.
I think the Okanagan Sun got away with a hold there. When Liam sprang out, it's interesting. I think the left tackle.
Oh, that's the trip.
But you know, as an offensive lineman, you're trying to keep your defensive player outside on a pass play, and then when Liam broke the contain there, the defensive player tried to widen, and you're already holding on to him, but it easily could have been called. 3rd down,
he bobbled the snap, did Kroger, and he'll be stopped short of the 1st down. Good job by the Rebels to take advantage of the bobbled snap, and it's a turnover on downs.
That's the thing that really fires up coaches, right? Again, we talked about how, you know, 1 yard, 2 yards in CFL should be an automatic. You know, the challenge to that is obviously not a clean exchange.
Yeah.
They don't, you know, the Okanagan Sun don't do a lot of under the center plays. They're always in that pistol or that shotgun formation. So, you know, something that maybe they haven't had as much work on as they would like to. Whereas with Victoria, this 2-back system, they do walk the quarterback up under the center a few times, so they're going to be much more polished in that area.
Cole Bunting, by the way, made the initial hit on Kroger and stopped him. There's a timeout for West Shore. West Shore will take a timeout. We'll take a 30-second break as well. 10-3, the Sun have the lead with 9:23 remaining in this 2nd quarter.
Broken glass? No problem. Go see Tim at Kelowna Glass.
Hi, I'm Tim. Come see us for all your glass needs.
Kelowna Glass specializes in repair and replacement of auto, residential, and commercial glass. Kelowna Glass, Kelowna's #1 choice for auto glass.
Come and see us on the corner of Hunter and Enterprise.
And after the timeout, Sun in front by the score of 10-3. They trailed around this point last week by the score of 17-7 against the Valley Huskers, who I thought had a really good game plan early on. Those short passes. Were you at this game last week?
Yep.
Yeah, those short passes that they were able to work their way down the field. Head coach Travis Miller said they did a lot of adjustments in that second half. So after the timeout, they hand it here to Lanuzzi, who goes absolutely nowhere into the teeth of that Sun defense, knocked backwards for perhaps no gain.
It's definitely one of the strengths of the Okanagan Sun football team. You know, I saw firsthand last year, but the amount of time these coaches put in to game planning, to, you know, ultimately making adjustments. You know, there's been a couple of games this year where the Okanagan Sun haven't probably started as well as they would have liked to, but have been able to make in-game adjustments that have turned the tide. I think in this game they came out with obviously a pretty good game plan on both sides of the ball. Offensively, I think they've just like a few more points on the scoreboard.
Second and long. Rolling is Pickard, looking for his intended receivers, intercepted by Lewis. Looking for that same play we saw earlier in the first quarter when he overthrew his intended receiver. This time Lewis read the entire play and made the interception.
Yeah, that's learning from earlier plays, right? There was much better coverage downfield. The West Shore receiver wasn't by everybody, and even though he still did get contained, it wasn't as clear as the last one, and the defensive end was able to put pressure and have him speed up that throw and obviously not put it exactly where he wanted to put it.
The Sun a plus 27 in turnovers this past regular season.
That's a pretty good number. If you're a defensive coach or a head coach and you go into a season and say, hey, you're going to be plus 27 in the turnovers, yeah, you're sleeping a little bit better at night after a game.
West Shore, conversely, a -5 in the turnover ratio. So 1st and 10 from the Rebel 46-yard line. Kroger will fake the handoff. Kroger will avoid the sack. His throw is cut by Walker. What a reception by the receiver. And you talked about him earlier, Jay. A great athlete. He was able to climb the ladder here and make the catch.
That was absolutely great athlete to great athlete. You know, for Liam to be able to escape like that, and not only escape, but escape away from his throwing hand, like to come out of that tackle and immediately find the receiver, get the ball in the air, and then the receiver Ty makes a great catch. You know, he's got two defensive backs around him. He's got to go to that ball strong and use his hands. It's exactly what he did.
There's Will Abramolo, who thought he had the sack. Kroger able to avoid him and then hit Walker. 1st and 10. They give it to Peddle. Peddle will go up the middle, avoids one tackle, gets to the 30, now the 25 where he's gang tackled there. A good run by Peddle will be awfully close to a first down.
See, that's what growing up playing football in Grand Prairie does for you. You're a little bit, he might want it to snow here. You never know.
He likes the cold temperatures.
Absolutely.
Well, one of these two teams is going to be heading to Saskatchewan next week, so they better get used to the cold. They'll face the winner of the Prairie Conference title game. That is tomorrow. The Hilltops from Saskatoon will host the Regina Thunder, and the winner will host the winner of this game in the CJFL National semifinal game.
That's turned into a pretty good rivalry itself,
Yeah.
Saskatoon and Regina.
Second and very short. Kroger going to find his man. That's Falconer, who has the first down. The 20, makes a side step to the 10-5, touchdown! Bounced off another tackler and gets into the end zone for a 26-yard touchdown.
That's a great job at the point of attack. You know, one of the hardest things and probably most underrated things in football is a receiver blocking in the open field when your defensive back can go either way. But Sam Mellinson, and I'm not exactly sure who the other, and Ty Walker, you know, occupied their receivers, got him into the second level, and then, you know, unfortunately, the Rebels missed a tackle and resulted in a touchdown.
Extra point still to come from Atwood. It's up and it's good. So the Sun now leads 17-3 in this Cullen Cup championship game. I don't want to pick on the Rebels defense, but the tackling, they need to wrap up especially the initial stop, initial hit, the initial contact, because it's been killing them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, we've talked about field conditions and other things, and you know, having your best athletes on the field. And like I say, I think in that regard, teams are both been fairly close. But you know, at this time of year, you have to be able to finish. You have to be able to wrap up. And you know, again, sometimes you get into a championship game and a guy wants to just make a big hit, and you know, maybe he's thinking coming over, I'm gonna really lay a lick on this guy or hit him so hard I'm gonna knock the ball out, rather than just say, hey, I need to make a stop here and you know, keep the 7 points off the board.
So the Rebels offense will come back out on the field after this kickoff. 6:34 to go in this opening half of this BC Conference Cullen Cup Championship game. And Hay, who slips and falls as he makes contact with the ball to McGlarty, who has it, the return man, the 25, the 30 to 35, and he'll be hit around the 37-yard line. Pretty good return. It looked like something was developing, and then all of a sudden the hole closed, and McGlarty took a big pop as he got into that pile. Right?
Yeah, they're doing a good job on their kick returns. You know, it's one of those things that as a coach you don't want too much practice at, is returning the kicks, but they're getting bodies on bodies, but you know, the Sun are just doing a good job of staying in the lane so that there's no huge lanes to run through.
Gassel with the big hit there on McGlarty. So 1st and 10 for the Rebels offense from their own 38-yard line. Now the Rebels need a score. With 6 minutes to go in the opening half, they don't want to go into halftime down anymore. Pickard, his throw is almost intercepted. Lewis jumped the route in front of Zion Brown and almost had his second pick of the afternoon.
Yeah, this is a kind of an interesting time in the game. You know, football is such a game of momentum, and you got 6 minutes left in the half, and you know, we talked about trying to be within one score of the team that's out in front.
Yeah.
So this would be huge if the Rebels could march down and score. But the biggest thing that they would be looking for is, let's try and get some momentum going into the half. You know, if they get into halftime and they've really not moved the ball offensively, and you know, they're kind of scratching their heads, it's tough.
Well, there's an interception. There's Lewis, number 2 on the afternoon. Another interception right at midfield. He jumped the route once again of Brown. Pickard tried to force it in there, and Lewis said thanks very much.
Yeah, they actually came back with the exact same play that they threw the play before that almost was picked off, and you know, there was no there was no gap between the receiver and the defensive back. I think the ball might have been thrown a titch behind, and it's just I would like to say an easy interception. Nothing's easy on a football field, but it was great positioning by the defensive back and hit him right in the numbers, and you know, he was able to make the play.
Trying to force a play to a playmaker. You mentioned earlier, Zion Brown. They want to get the ball in his hands. They just haven't been able to. 1st and 10 after the interception. From midfield, Kroger rolling to his left, has a man, that's Melanson, as Kroger takes a big pop. Melanson is forced out of bounds after he picks up the first down. No flag. I thought maybe a little bit late of a hit on Kroger. Referee said no, but it's still a first down reception.
Yeah, it was definitely a late hit. I'm surprised, because even at this league, I think we should do a better job protecting our quarterbacks. But what I really love is Liam popped up and slapped the other guy on the back. Said, great hit. Let's go and do this, right? Which is easier to do when you've completed the pass, for sure.
Absolutely. If it was an interception, you might still be on the field.
Yeah, for sure.
So 1st and 10. Kroger will set up shop at the Rebel 43-yard line left hash. They fake the handoff again to Noah. This time this ball is caught off the shoe tips, off the shoestrings by Falconer, and he has another first down at the Rebel 30-yard line, a pickup of 13.
Yeah, it was a good job of sticking with that ball. I don't think he had it on the first possession. I think he bobbled it a little bit, but stayed with it before it hit the ground and was able to make the catch. I know they're trying to, try to get Falconer the ball in space and be able to move. He's a dynamic athlete, like they have on both sides of the ball. So, I think we'll see that play again.
5 receivers for Kroger and company with Noah in the backfield. They hand it here to Falconer. He sidesteps one tackler but can't get away from the great pursuit of Bolton. Able to track him down from behind and keep him. It looked like he ran a long way along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well, again, both defenses are good. They're going to string that out. It's really tough to, it's a good first down call, because obviously if you don't get it, you got a shot at it on second down. Again, they're in that kind of gray area of, are they going to go, is it 3-down football, or are they going to kick a field goal from here? With 3 minutes and 50 seconds, it's kind of right on the bubble as far as what Coach Miller's going to do. So if you're going to do that kind of play, do it on first down, but they want to be more north-south.
They're calling it a loss of 1. So 2nd and 11, flags fly just as the snap happens. And we'll see what the referee calls here.
I think we have 2 penalties again. I think the receivers up on the far side jumped off side, but the deep official threw a flag as well, so I think it's a time count as well.
Yep. Time count violation, you're right, Jake. Against the Sun. Well, that'll knock him backwards with 3:37 to go.
Yeah.
2nd and 16.
Again, you know, one of the benefits of having a dynamic offense is, or the downsides is, the play calls become a little bit more complicated and with a little bit more verbiage. So you can see that that Liam quite often comes either to or close to the sideline to get a call, and by the time he got back in there, they just get the ball snapped in time.
2nd and 16 from the Rebel 35-yard line. Kroger back to pass. Has all sorts of time. He's going to throw it near sideline over the head of his intended receiver and incomplete. Now 3rd and 13, and boy, that penalty hurts you.
Yeah, took him out of field goal position. So, well, I shouldn't say that. They may be going for a field goal. I'm not sure, but it would be
it's a long field goal.
42 yards from there. So
like
in this conditions, my guess is they're probably just going to punt it away.
Atwood coming onto the field, the kicker, so it'll be Hay, the punter. The all-star punter will come out and stand at around the Rebel 50-yard line.
And that's the downside of getting in a 2nd and long, and they know they're going to throw the ball. That was great coverage by the Rebels that time. There was nobody open on the field.
It's not a bad spot to attempt a fake. No fake here, as Hay will angle it towards the sideline. And it goes out of bounds, and it will be placed at the 4-yard line. What a punt by Grady Hay.
That was a great punt. They also had an onside player, so you can see at the top of the screen there was a player that originally had lined up behind the punter. In this case, he ran upfield before they kicked the ball, so he wouldn't have been considered onside. But it's something that they can use, and if he remains there when the kicker kicks it, he can now go downfield and recover that play. So it's something that, you know, most Canadian teams will do once they get more into, you know, colder weather, weather inclement games, you know, where the ball's not flying as well, it's bouncing around on the ground.
So 1st and 10 for the Rebels from their own 4-yard line. Pickard inside the end zone as they hand the ball to Carter Williams. Williams has some room to run, makes a couple of moves, gets to the 10, still on his feet, and finally pushed out of bounds. Well, Carter Williams, who was a late addition to the roster, able to run that ball out of harm's way and gets them a 1st down.
Yeah, certainly a positive play by the Rebels. You know, I think the Okanagan Sun, if you ask them with 3 minutes to go in the half, they will give that up all day. Took a lot of time, didn't get a whole lot of yards. You know, you obviously don't want to have an easy 1st down, but, you know, it's certainly, those aren't going to get them back into the game by halftime if they continue that. So, you know, to be a defense and stay disciplined and have defensive backs that say, hey, my responsibility is the deep ball, not to step up and make that tackle. You know, I think we'll see a little bit of that for the next few minutes.
We've hit the 3-minute warning here in this 1st half. Referees come together, and they will break. The Rebels have the play that they want, and they're ready to go. Sun defense will line up as well. They'll rush 4. 1st and 10 for Pickard. Pickard hands the ball again to Williams. Williams changes directions this time, and he's hit, but after he gets the 1st down. Bohot with the tackle. Another 1st down carry by Williams.
Yep.
And you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that at this point. I think if they get to midfield with any significant amount of time, then you got to, you know, have the defense stiffen up a little bit. Like I said, you don't want to be too passive because really the offense hasn't done a lot so far in this half. You don't want to just make it easy for them, but right now this is not bothering the Okanagan Sun defense at all.
Pickard took a big hit there as Statham came over and made the big contact with the quarterback, who kept it the whole way. Design play, fakes it to Williams there, and then tries this right side, ran into Statham and his own guy.
Yeah, and that's, again, you know, that play, who does it favor? Yeah, it's 5 yards. You know, is it giving up too much? Yes. but your quarterback just took a big lick. A bunch of time came off the clock, so mission accomplished.
2nd and 5 for Pickard. In his shotgun, he's going to throw this one. Pickard over the middle, has his man, that's Brown. He's hit immediately. Good tackle by Statham. Brown, yes, the reception, but not a lot of yardage. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, this is a big decision by the Rebels. It's only a yard, so as mentioned, it should be a pretty easy get. But you turn the ball over this, and it almost guarantees points for the offense. And the other downside is, you know, they're throwing the ball, but by having the tackle in bounds, the clock keeps ticking. So to me, they look like they're in mode that, hey, let's get the ball out of the shadow of the end zone. And if we do have to give it back to the Sun and make them march a long way, they don't seem to be in any kind of a short yard or a 2-minute drill or a hurry up offense. Looks like they're content to go to half.
Well, they are going to go for it, though. It is 3rd down, and now a timeout will be taken by the Okanagan Sun in this point. So with 2:02 remaining, the Sun will take a timeout. We will take a 30-second one as well. The Sun lead the Rebels 17-3 in this Cullen Cup championship.
Isn't just about winning, it's about community. And at Future West Solar, they're proud to be able to provide homes in the Okanagan with clean, sustainable energy. Own your power with Future West Solar. Find out more at futurewestsolar.com.
Smooth commutes and safe streets during construction. That's BCW Traffic Management's commitments. Safety for both the public and workers. BCW is a proud supporter of your Okanagan Sun. Learn more about BCW at bcwtrafficmanagement.ca.
With 2:02 remaining in this opening half, the Sun lead the Rebels by the score of 17-3. A 3rd down gamble here by the Rebels, unless they're just trying to draw the Sun perhaps offside with a hard count. But this is territory that if you turn the ball over here, it could be dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly could be. I mean, that might be why the Okanagan Sun called a timeout in this position, is just to tell their guys to watch the ball.
A clean snap they will hand to Ruther, who's the linebacker, and he will have the 1st down. A flag flies on the far side of the field. Ruther, if the play stands, will have the carry and the 1st down. However, what's the call from the official?
This is going to be a huge call. If it's against the Rebels, they will have to punt, which will give the Okanagan Sun time to score. If it's against the Okanagan Sun, then the ball keeps moving.
Well, it's a guy offside against the Rebels. And they're going to repeat the 3rd down, obviously, with the penalty. And now here comes the punt unit for the Rebels. That's too bad. If you're West Shore, you get the 1st down. You have maybe a little bit of momentum that you want and need going into halftime, and then a penalty shoots yourself in the foot.
Yeah, these were, you know, as a coach, these were the ones that killed you. You know, obviously there's a whole half of football to go, so it's anybody's game yet. But if things don't go the Rebels' way, you know, that coach is on the bus going back to Victoria, and it's these little plays, these little moments that you think about.
Manuzzi's kick, it's high, not very long. It'll be grabbed by Page at his own, at the midfield mark, pardon me, and he will go up the field and get a short gain. There's flags on the play. This could be a penalty against the Sun. Williams is very animated up there, like arguing the call, but I think the official is going to call him on a penalty.
Yeah, it's obviously no yards again, and skill testing question, Ryan, is it a 5 or 15-yard variety?
Well, he caught the ball, so it would be a 15-yard variety.
Absolutely.
All right.
At the end of the play, the kick returner actually fumbled it. So again, something that, you know, makes the Rebel coaches pull their hair out, because a penalty takes the football away from them, right? Definitely a conversation needs to happen on the Okanagan Sun bench, because now is the time where you really want to protect the football. Him fighting for another couple extra yards, but fumbling you don't need that. You just need to get the ball, secure it, and get down in that spot. But fortunately, because of the no yards, they retain the football.
I'm curious then why Kenley Williams for the Sun was so animated and so looked like angry at himself that there was a flag right at his feet. So that's why I thought, well, maybe he's going to get a penalty for something.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Who knows? Maybe he just missed a block.
He could have missed a block. You know, the other player, he might have felt he was held, or you know, things get a little physical in the middle of scrums like that. So maybe, you know, somebody took a liberty and he didn't like it, and you know, he did the right thing and not retaliate, but, you know, definitely showed emotion, but it really is hard to say.
So 1st and 10 from the Rebel 39-yard line. Kroger in a shotgun. They will fake it to Peddle. Kroger going to go down the field looking for Mellison, goes over his head. It'll be 2nd down.
So clearly, you know, they're not content to go in at halftime up 17-3. They want to score more points. Again, a good, good kind of 2-minute drill play, throw the ball towards the end zone. If Sam catches that, he catches it and gets out of bounds, or, you know, potentially scores. It looked like he got a little caught up coming out of his break. I don't think he was really up to full speed, but
we haven't seen much of Noah. He's on the sideline with his helmet off right now, standing there watching this offense go to work with Peddle in the ball game. 2nd and long. Kroger, as the coverage is there by the Rebels, and Kroger will be hit behind the line of scrimmage. It will be a sack for Cody McMahon.
Yeah, they brought heat that time and got a couple of guys through. That's again a great defensive call by the Rebels. It's a gamble because, you know, in a situation like that, you've got, you know, all of the front 7 coming, you know, a full-out blitz. Everybody else is playing man coverage in the backfield. If Liam was able to scoot through, he'd probably still be running. But they did a good job getting to him and getting him down for a loss, and they're going to get the ball back.
So Hay, the kicker, standing at midfield with McLarty back deep, standing at his own goal line. Hay, who pulled off a nice punt last time. Here's a good high kick again. This one is into the end zone.
You got to roughen the kicker.
Oh, there's a flag.
And again, this is another one that as a coach is really going to have you pull your hair out, because I didn't catch the number of the player that hit him, but he could have stopped. He wasn't close enough that he looked like he had a chance to block the punt, but he just didn't stop and ran right through the kicker. Yeah. It was more of a mental thing than hey, I almost got to the ball and happened to hit the kicker. It just.
Well, I can't see anybody being chewed out down on that Rebel sideline, so we missed the number on who actually ran into the kicker. And I have seen Noah get his helmet on and go back out onto the field. Well, now the defense is coming back out, or at least the jumbo unit of the Sun.
They must have conned it again because he didn't. The kicker was already standing there when he got a run over. It would have been a contacting the kicker, which means it's not necessarily a first down. But they have brought their jumbo unit out, so they're going to go for it on 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1. Noah in the backfield, acting as the quarterback in the Wildcat. They need 1 yard. Noah takes the snap. He's going to try the right side. Noah has the first down, and Moore still on his feet to the 20, and Noah will be tackled there. So a gain of about 11 yards for Noah, and it's a first down.
Yeah, there's just so much happening on there that's, it's really tough for a defender to know where the ball is going to go. I mean, you got a pretty good chance that it's going to stay in Noah's hands, but they've run the option off it. He's gone both left and right to the formation, and they overwhelm you with bodies. They outman you at the point of attack, and he's so good at hitting a hole.
The initial hit was made by the Sun offensive lineman. His block as Noah ran into his backside. So 1st and 10 from the 20. They give to Noah, but whistles blow before the handoff is made. And we may have another delay of game. I'm not sure.
I think this is on the offense. They brought a receiver down. I don't know if he was coming down to block, like coming from his slot back position down at the end of the line of scrimmage, or if he was going to run like a crossing route, but he was definitely across the line.
So offside against the Sun. That'll back him up with 50 seconds to go.
Again, depending on what happens going forward, it puts them right on the edge of field goal range. These are mistakes that, if the Rebels do come back and start mounting an offense, this is what you're going to point to keep that the game is close. But, if the Sun do happen to get through this game, these mistakes will kill you once you're out of confidence.
1st and 15. Kruger's pass is intercepted. Bryce Ruther with a tip to himself, and then as he's falling down, makes the interception, and the Rebels will take over with 44 seconds to go.
Yeah, I think this went off the hands of the Sun receiver.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it did. when you run a screen, especially a center screen like that, it's really, really important that the receiver gets set and be a big target. And it looked like the receiver was drifting there, and it's a tough throw because with this screen, what a quarterback's trying to do is invite the defensive lineman to him and get them as far upfield as possible. So generally when the quarterback's throwing it, he's drifting back a little bit. So you want your receiver to be there, be set, and present a target, and that just didn't happen.
So 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Pickard is going to go to the air as well. Nothing there. So Pickard going to roll to his right, has all sorts of real estate on this side, and then will slide down just before the linebacker running Adam Jacob Bond. Good idea by Pickard to slide down.
Absolutely. This speaks to the mindset of the Rebels here, though. They just want to get out of the half without giving up any more points. You know, if I'm the offensive coordinator at this point, I still want to score. They're only 20 yards from, maybe 30 yards from a long field goal position. But by staying in bounds, they're saying, let's just run the clock. Let's get to halftime. Let's make some adjustments. We're down 2 scores, but it's not insurmountable.
2nd and about 3 after the run by Pickard. He's in a shotgun with Lanuzzi in the backfield as well. Now an empty backfield. They pass to Lanuzzi. He has it at the 30, now the 35, the 40, and then was knocked down, it looked like, by his own guy. Ran into Williams, the receiver that was blocking. And it'll be a 1st and 10. The clock will stop as they move the chains.
Yeah, once again, like I said, intentionally stayed in bounds. So it'll be interesting here with 10 seconds to go. I mean, technically, if you're in attack mode, you could probably throw the ball one more time, whether it's in bounds or not, and get a second play. So, whether we'll see them, put the ball, downfield and hope for either a long catch or maybe a pass interference. Although in junior football, pass interference only a 15-yard penalty. But see if they come out attacking and hope maybe to kick a field goal at the end, or are they just going to do the same thing, either run the ball or keep it in bounds?
Well, they have the quarterback to do it, to be able to throw a ball and a good ball down the field with Ethan Pickard. They do have some very good receivers.
The challenge with that, though, is, again, the Okanagan Sun secondary are such ball hawks. You know,
2 interceptions.
There's a good chance you throw an interception. If you throw it that far downfield and give them an opportunity to run, it could be dangerous.
Well, Pickard's going to roll to his left, looking down the field. He will throw it up for grabs towards the far sideline. Maybe just threw it out of bounds as it hits the track here at the Apple Bowl. And with 3 seconds to go, that should almost do it. I guess they will have to take one more snap to run the clock out.
Yeah, I think that was their mindset. Is let's manage the clock. Let's not give the Sun a bunch of time to move down the field, because obviously they're as explosive as well. But I think they were trying to get a big chunk play, and then I'm assuming either run their field goal unit out or maybe get into a position where they can take a shot at the end zone.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have a conversation with the BC Conference football president, Tyler McLaren, and also a conversation with Rob Lervord. He is the president of the West Shore Rebels. So that's coming up at halftime. First, this pass by Pickard will fall incomplete, and that's how this first half will end. So after a 10-3 first quarter score, we only had 1 score in the second quarter. That was Falconer. If you take a look at the scoring summary, the Rebels actually opened up the scoring with a kickoff Rouge, a single, led 1-0, and then Noah came back with an offense that drove down the length of the field, orchestrated by the quarterback Kroger. They gave it to Noah and the Wildcat, and he scampered in from 1 yard out. That was at the 12:04 mark of the opening quarter, made it 7-1. Then a conceded safety by the Sun at 8:09 of the first quarter, made it 7-3. Atwood connected on a second attempt after a couple of penalties, if I'm not mistaken. A 13-yard field goal by Atwood right at the 0 mark of the first quarter, made it 10-3, and then a 26-yard touchdown pass to Falconer with 6:34 remaining in the first half. That made it 17-3, and that's where we stand right here. So Jay will step aside, take a quick commercial break, and then we'll have a conversation with Tyler McLaren. He's the president of the BC Conference. That's coming up next.
At Beecroft Fuel Distributors, being a part of the community is their top priority. As proud supporters of youth sports like the Westside Warriors, Penticton Vees, and our own Okanagan Sun, they love to see the next generation competing at such high levels of athleticism. Did you know they also provide 100% of the fuel for every search and rescue operation in all 8 of their service communities at no charge? Beecroft Fuel Distributors, your community partner, family owned, locally run, and a proud sponsor of the Okanagan Sun. BDFD.ca.
Fuel your adventures with Canco Petroleum in one-stop convenience. Grab a Chillers or make it a Screamer. And don't forget to scan your Canco cash card. Check out cancopetroleum.ca or download their app. Proud sponsors of your Okanagan Sun.
Yes, you can, Co.
Let's face it, moving and storage isn't as much fun as watching football. If you need to move or store your stuff and you have lots of stuff, a Big Steel Box is a convenient and flexible solution. The team at Big Steel Box is on your side and is dedicated to providing an exceptional experience by reducing your effort and owning your problem. If you're looking for a moving and storage service that feels better, get started with Big Steel Box, proud supporter of the Okanagan Sun.
Hello, Kelowna. It's Michael J. from beautiful Big White Ski Resort. I've got a question for you. Have you ever seen Big White in the summertime? I think you'll be amazed with what supernatural British Columbia has to offer at 5,500 feet above sea level. The alpine flowers are out. You can ride the chairlift for only $15, and your dogs are free. Come and enjoy an ice cream this long weekend at beautiful Big White Ski Resort. All our details are online at bigwhite.com.
Come find us in Boundary Country.
Here at halftime, the Okanagan Sun lead the West Shore Rebels by the score of 17-3 here in this BC Conference Cullen Cup game, and some halftime entertainment as well. Jeff Piatelli, his band, playing down on the far side of the Apple Bowl, keeping the fans entertained here at halftime. It's been a very interesting regular season across the BC Conference as well, and I had a chance to catch up with Tyler McLaren. He's the president of the BC Conference prior to today's game, and just asked him what his general thoughts are on the BC Conference regular season this past year.
It was a good regular season, a lot more parity this year. A lot of standing stuff going on where we didn't know who was going to host playoff games, who was going to play who until the last week of the season. So parity is always good from a fan perspective and people who follow our league. And all in all, I thought it was a pretty good season, a pretty competitive season across the board.
Stress-wise, one thing you can't control is the weather. And in BC, we have to deal with smoke and fire, and there wasn't anything like that this year. I guess it's a bit of a relief.
It is, and the amount of time that you have to prepare for that kind of stuff, even if it may never come to fruition, is astounding. And you always have all these contingencies in your brain, and they twirl around. And some of them this year, not like you said, none of them we had to exercise this year, fortunately, because we've had the snow, we've had traffic, we've had buses break down, accidents, like you said, fires. So it's thankfully we didn't have to put any of that stuff into action this year. But yeah, it definitely occupies a lot of brain power throughout the season.
As far as the teams are concerned, and I had an opportunity to watch the standings, watch some of the games here, Prince George and Nanaimo I thought were a nice addition, not necessarily just because they're a brand new team, but the fact that they were competitive and they won big games.
Yeah, no question. That goes to what we were talking about with the parity that we had, and you saw the last couple of weeks of the season, VI took a lot of big strides. They were actually really good throughout the season. They gave the Sun a good run for their money when they were in Nanaimo. They won a couple games. They beat a couple playoff teams the last 2 weeks of the season. So it's nice when you're in Prince George, same thing. They played a lot of tough football games, more early for them, but it's nice when you're as we always say, a rising tide helps all boats. So when your weaker teams are strong, I mean, somebody unfortunately has to lose, but when you've got your weaker teams that are strong, competitive, and give the top teams a run for their money, as both the Raiders and the Kodiaks did, that only helps everybody.
Can you speak to Prince George a little bit, because the travel alone to get up there, get down there for the Kodiaks, to get all over the place, are they healthy still? Are they doing okay?
Yeah, they're good. I mean, I keep in contact with them and all of our teams, and their fans and support of Prince George is still remarkable. I mean, they're still in that honeymoon phase, just finishing their third season. So I think they'll obviously they'll feel the strain, just like a lot of our teams, that they'll want to put a winning product on the field and be successful and host playoff games and win Cullen Cups and everything else. So, but right now, like they're fully. They're fine financially. They run a good organization, and it travels tough, but it's something that we've had to deal with island teams. And even when the Sun came back into the league in 1982 or one or whatever, it was eye-shocking to think we have to go up to the interior to play football games, and here we are 42 years later or something, and the Sun, everyone just expects it now.
Yeah. When you look at the schedule and you look at finances particularly, it's tough getting off the island, as you mentioned, tough to get down from Prince George. There was a little bit of an off-balance schedule this year. Can you see that more and even changing even more in future years?
Yeah, we could, and I think this year worked out well because we were able to get more matchups with the teams that were at the top of the standings in 23. They played against each other more in 24. And when you can conversely do that, conversely you have teams that were at the lower end of the standings in 23. They played against each other more in 24 as well. So you get those competitive balanced games against each other, and sometimes it can hurt you where you could have a team make the playoffs because they have a quote-unquote softer schedule or weaker schedule. But all in all, it makes for better football when you don't have lopsided scores. And we did have lopsided scores in 23, mainly because West Shore is just such a good football team, and they just dominated throughout the regular season. So, but when you have everybody's at different points in their progression with where they're at as an organization. Some teams are younger, older, so when you can allow them to develop, and then eventually they might move up to the quote-unquote higher tier in our league and have to play tougher games against the Rebels or the Sun or the Rams or the Huskers. So it's something that can change, but I think this year worked out quite well. Based on our average point spread, it was much better this year than it was in 23.
I know you want parity and you want the teams to be competitive throughout, but then you look at this final, and for the third straight year, it's the Rebels and the Sun.
Yeah, it is definitely the third straight year, and these two teams have been here before, and they both found a way to win their semifinal games. West Shore that game in Langley could have obviously gone either way, and even the game up here with Valley and the Sun, that could have gone either way too. So it just so happens these two teams are meeting for the third consecutive year, but it could have easily been to the two other teams and that were playing this game as well. So it's you like to see teams have the opportunity to host playoff games, host Cullen Cups, and that's from my perspective obviously good. Self-servingly, the teams would obviously like to host these games themselves, and I get that because that's what they're here and that's what they do. But it's nice to be able to have a little bit different flavor at different times for these playoff games.
When you look at some of the teams, VI, Kamloops, Prince George particularly, they haven't been in the playoffs now for a little while. Are they okay financially? Can you see them surviving?
They are, and I mean I think they're seeing. The nice part is that our teams have such good collaboration where the teams now talk to each other, share best practices, and I think they need to know what the teams at the top are doing to enable them to stay at the top and be at the top, and then putting that into practice themselves. So I think they need to know those things so that they can say, okay, this is what we have to do to be successful, and then putting it into action. So they're all fine. I mean, we do have stability amongst all of our 7 teams, but obviously they need to know, like, finances make the world go around, and it's harder and harder to get revenue dollars and that kind of stuff. So that's obviously a challenge, but I think sharing best practices with the teams that have been successful and then utilizing and putting it into action yourselves will help those teams hopefully take a few steps up.
One of the things that's happened under your watch as the BC president is the streaming and the broadcast, the professionalism that the BC Conference has been able to bring year in, year out. Do you take that as a feather in your cap and one of your good victories?
There's a lot of people that have been a part of that and growing that and developing it. We're still tweaking it. I mean, it's something that's been successful for years now, but it's something we still can get better at. I think the teams challenge themselves to have a good broadcast to see what the other teams are in terms of cameras and just the quality and everything else. This year obviously was a hurdle where we had to switch providers, so stuff like that was a challenge like right before our season, so it worked out well for that. Some hiccups, but all in all it's something that we like to be able to offer our fans all across the country and all across the world, that they can tune in and watch a BCFC broadcast game to watch their son or grandson or boyfriend or former teammates or whatever it is. They can watch those guys play in the game.
As the president, you come to one of these games, do you keep your eye on Ontario and the Prairies to see who BC's going to face next?
Of course, and that I do, in all honesty, and that's part of that's the old coach in me coming out, where I look to see, okay, who's dominating the Prairies and who's dominating Ontario and where their strong players are and who's catching passes and who's running well, and so that's the old coach in me coming out. But obviously, once our champion is concluded today, we want to be able to root our BC team on, and we all would like to rally behind it and hopefully win a Canadian Bowl, which we've done 2 of the last 3 years. So hopefully that's the objective this year as well. This is the objective this year as well.
Thanks for your time, Tyler.
Anytime.
Bronag Contracting gives back to our community. For the past 15 years, they've been a proud corporate sponsor of Okanagan Sun football. They're also proud to help underprivileged kids play organized sports. At Bronag Contracting, they specialize in commercial construction as a general contractor and project manager. If you need their expertise, get in touch. Brone Ag Contracting, proud to give back to the community and a proud supporter of the Okanagan Sun.
When you're proud of your team, it shows. Candell Custom Homes is proud to support the Okanagan Sun football team and proud of their team who are passionately working on building your dream home, your forever home. Look into building with Candell Custom Homes, a boutique firm specializing in design builds. Upcoming projects include Lake Country Villas in the Lakestone area, where you could proudly own one of Candell's 24 executive Lakeview villas. See more at CandellCustomHomes.com.
Okay, Rob, first off, just want to talk about the team this year. It was a lot of question marks, a lot of unknowns coming in this year, a lot of turnover, and a lot of adversity. I want to know what your evaluation of the team up to this point has been.
Yeah, you know, it's the team has faced some adversity, which is always, you know, it's challenging, but once you get through it and you know, work your way through it, it's always very rewarding too. I mean, you know, it's nothing like a group of guys coming together when it counts, especially late in the season like this. Playoff football is always fun, and we're obviously looking forward to the challenge this weekend.
Talking about playoff football, to get off the schneid, to finally break that losing streak last weekend in Langley. I mean, what did that mean for the guys that played in the game but were also on the sidelines?
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, obviously, you know, a great morale booster. We'd struggled down the stretch, but you know, nothing brings a team together like winning, and you know, I think facing adversity together and coming through it always strengthens the bond in the locker room and really focuses everyone. And I think they're well aware of what's at hand here. We've faced the Sun. This is the third straight year in the championship game, so no love lost from either team there. So it'll be a good one. I'm excited for the matchup.
Yeah, and talking about the Sun, I mean, again, you guys clashing for the third time in a row. It has to form a rivalry. I mean, what does it mean just for two of the top teams now who have established themselves in the league? What does it mean to play the best football that the BCFC can see?
Yeah, no, and you know what? The Sun have obviously had a great year. You know, we had a great season last season. They've matched that 10-0 mark this season, and they faced some adversity through the season as well. They had some tight games, and they managed to pull them out. They pulled a real tight one out against us here at home. But yeah, I mean, I think. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way. We're going up to Kelowna, where we haven't had a lot of success lately, so we're looking forward to the challenge and going up there and giving them all they got.
Lastly, without giving away too much, what are the keys to coming away with the championship this year?
Well, obviously it's playing some sound football, right? We know we've got to play strong defensively. We know the attack they bring, and we've got to be ready for it. And you know, really play some strong defense, special teams, and offensively capitalize on the opportunities and make sure that, you know, we're protecting the ball and doing the right things out there.
Successful return for the Okanagan Sun right here. Takes the handoff. He goes towards the end zone and he's caught.
Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. It's Ryan Waters and Jay Christensen on this Saturday afternoon. Thanks for lending us your eyeballs and your ears wherever you may be listening and watching from, as we are here in Kelowna under what I thought would be cloudy and rainy skies. It is broken clouds, sunshine on the field as well, and the Sun are leading the Rebels here at halftime of this Cullen Cup championship by the score of 17-3. Some stats to pass along, and Jay, really, there's a couple stats on here that we have in front of us that really stand out. What pops out for you?
Well, the biggest thing that pops out is the Rebels' passing yards at 17 for the half.
That's unbelievable.
Tough to stay in the game, tough to score points when you're doing that. You know, they've had some success running the ball, but if you become one-dimensional, it's a little tougher. The other thing that really jumps out to me is the rushing yards of the Okanagan Sun are 59. Quite often they're pushing the 200-yard mark at this point in the game. So they've definitely their game plan was to come out and be much more balanced, and I think they've been pretty successful on that. So the key will be the halftime adjustments. The Sun obviously went in and I'm sure talked to everybody about eliminating those negative plays when they get in scoring position, coming away with points. The Rebels, I think it was probably a little bit more of a difficult halftime and coming up with something that's going to be able to generate some stuff. And this is case in point right here.
Here's the first trick play. It's a pass over to Brown, but a great tackle there by the Okanagan Sun cover team, which was Tyler Craver, who was able to snuff that play out. He comes across right there, sheds his block, and gets Brown for a tackle, and Brown unhappy as he slams the ball down.
Yeah, it's tough. Again, you go into halftime, you're down 14 points. If you were moving the ball, it's a little clean up this a little bit, clean up that with a little bit. They obviously chose to come out and say, hey, let's start showing some trick plays and seeing if we can get an easy one. And it doesn't, that's a tough pill to swallow for a player though, because that's your coaches saying we're going to come out and we can't move the ball on them conventionally. We got to come up with something tricky.
Yeah. Plays with the psyche that way.
Yeah, and I don't think it helps you as a player.
Lanuzi with the carry goes up the middle for a pickup about 6 yards. It'll be second and, they gave him 7, so 2nd and 3. So the Rebels, 4 first downs in that opening half, 49 rushing yards, 17 passing yards, 2 interceptions, 9 penalties for 40 yards for the Rebels. They give it to Lanuzi again. He goes up the middle, has a first down, still on his feet, and will gain a few more yards after that as he gets to about the 47-yard line. For the Sun, 15 first downs, 59 yards on the ground, 186 yards through the air for Kroger, and 3 penalties. So the penalties compared to the both teams, the Rebels with 9, the Sun with only 3. First down.
Penalties definitely hurt the Rebels in the first half. So they've come out now with 2 runs to Lanuzi. It'll be interesting to see. That's where they've had most of their success is just that power look and running the ball right up the middle of the field. It's hard to do when you're down 14 points, especially as the game starts to wear on. You're going to, as an offense coordinator, you're going to want to have that urge to get big chunks and move the ball down the field. But this really has been their big success. So if they can march the field with him and keep that success going.
Yeah, not a lot of success there. They toss it to him, and he loses 3, maybe 4 on the play. It was Fensky who came up from his defensive back position and made the tackle on him.
Yeah. So again, the adjustment from the Okanagan Sun. Usually when you hear a defense is blitzing, you're trying to get free runners at a quarterback that's dropped back. But a lot of defenses will blitz to stop the run. So basically they're sending a player through every gap. They brought the defensive back on the top of the field, the far side, and Fensky stepped up on the short side and just filled a hole and was in the right place at the right time.
2nd and 2. Here comes the pressure, trying to set up the screen. They can't quite get it to Lanuzi. Great pressure by the Sun to get through the line to disrupt that timing. Yobo was the one that broke through.
Yeah, that time they got there way too quickly. As mentioned earlier, the quarterback on a screen wants to drop back, set up, and then invite the defensive line to him. He didn't even have a chance to set up, and they were right in his grill.
So Lanuzi, who carried the bulk of the load in that opening series, will go back to punt. And Gage Parker back to receive at his own 25-yard line. Here's the kick. Bounces at about the 33, picked up by Page. He slips and falls. And the Sun offense will come out for the first time here in this second half. 12:33 remaining third quarter, 17-3, the Sun with the advantage.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see any of the adjustments the Okanagan Sun made on offense. They were moving the ball around pretty well in the first half. You look at the stats, and they're, you wouldn't say that they threw the ball on us or ran the ball on us. It was a pretty good mix. So we'll see if they stick with that, or if they, start to get into, a little bit more of a ground and pound game and trying to get that clock moving.
He's got Noah in the backfield, does the quarterback Kroger, in a shotgun. From his own 32, little flip pass here to Noah. Noah stiff arms one tackler, gets to the 35, some open space to the 40, 45, spun around and gets to the 50. What a run by Noah after getting the short pass, gets it all the way to the 50-yard line. You're shaking your head. Can you believe it? There's a missed tackle there.
Well, for sure a missed tackle,
one
but
there.
Yeah, there's a missed tackle down the field. I wouldn't even categorize that a missed tackle in the backfield because Noah is so good with that straight arm that makes it pretty tough, right?
So strong.
Yeah, you're not going to tackle him one person in space. The best you can hope to do is slow him down until the troops arrive. But downfield, that was just incredible athleticism.
1st and 10 from their 50. Call it the 51. Kroger will fake to Noah. Wants to go down the field, down the middle. This one going to be intercepted. Easy picked for Lanuski. From his safety position, the ball right into the number 2. Read that play the whole way, and the Rebels get the first turnover the second half.
He had Marcus Burton going down the seam. I see Liam's coming off, and he's really upset with himself. One of the traps that you will fall into as a quarterback, he was throwing the ball with great conviction in the first half and great decision making and putting the ball right on people. But what that does is it breeds a little bit of overconfidence. And that time, he looked at Marcus all the way down the seam, and Lanuzzi just kept creeping over and basically threw it right to him. He had his man beat, but he stared him down the whole way.
1st and 10 after the pick. Pickard wants to go down the field, has a man. It's Franklin who makes his first reception. Gets it down to the Sun 36-yard line.
Now they're opening up a little bit now. That was a good play. I think the safety slipped a little bit. Otherwise, it might have gotten a little bit closer to making a play. Not sure who that was. It might have been Borhat or Vicente. He just happened to slip, and it's right on it looks like a bit of a messy patch on the grass. But nonetheless, that's a big chunk play by the Rebels. They really needed that. I think that eclipsed their passing yards for the whole first half.
Yeah, well, you're right. They had only 17. So 1st and 10 from the Sun, 37-yard line. Pickard back to throw again. Pickard wants to go deep down the field. This one's going to be almost intercepted. The closest person to the ball was the Sun player. That was Williams, and somehow he didn't come up with the interception. I think the intended receiver was Brown.
That was probably, that would have been number 3 for him. I think that would have been the easier one of the 3, but he did a great job knocking the ball down.
Well, Lewis has the
positive
2,
side.
Then,
okay.
Williams would have had one.
Correct.
So 2nd and long now, 2nd and 10 from the 37. With Pickard coming out, leading the troops. He'll be in a shotgun. 3 receivers to the left. He's got Lanuzzi in the backfield with him. Now an empty backfield. Lanuzzi will depart. Pickard down the middle, has a man wide open. It's Neven who makes the reception down to the 20, and he'll get easily a first down. Nice looking play on the crossing pattern. That's Josh Neven with his first reception.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure what happened in the Sun backfield, but it wasn't even a play action. Usually you throw that pass over the middle, and you're doing it because you're pretending to run the ball and bring the linebackers up. There was just nobody in the middle of the field.
The Sun want to call a timeout to talk things over as the entire defensive unit is huddled up around head coach Travis Miller.
Yeah, the fact that Travis is out there and Shane's just showing up now, I think, to listen to what's going on. But the fact that Travis is talking in there, this is a calm down. Let's get back to what we were doing. Let's play with confidence. We're in a good position still. I think just more of a momentum thing than anything else.
There's Travis right there, the BC Conference Coach of the Year. So now he's up for the National Coach of the Year award, which will be announced at the Canadian Bowl Banquet of Champions on November the 8th. Then the big game the next night, or the next afternoon, in Ontario on November the 9th. Travis, I believe, won 2 years ago. Dexter Janke, the Rebels head coach last year, was the Coach of the Year. So after the timeout, it's 1st and 10 from the Sun 18-yard line. And they hand the ball to Lanuzzi again. He tries the right side. A flag flies. And Nenamene was the tackle 2-on-2. jersey
This is going to
numbers.
be interesting. It looked like the defensive end on the near side of the field jumped up for the Sun, but there's flags on both sides, and usually that happens when the offense moves first, but I'm not sure.
Call from the official. Still don't have it, unfortunately. So play is going to stand for Lanuzzi and the carry. It'll be 2nd and 5, or maybe a 1st and 5 situation.
Yeah, that's
And 2nd down.
It's they after all that talk about the the yards and things in the first half, they punch it in here and they're right back in the ball game.
1st and 5 officially from the Sun 13-yard line. Pickard going to give to Lanuzzi, goes up the middle, and he's met right there by Jacob Bond, who grabs a hold of the leg and doesn't let go, and it will be 2nd and 5.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of keying on Lanuzzi now, right? I mean, as mentioned in the first half, he was kind of the I guess shining star of that offense for the little offense they had. He was
carried the load.
Yeah, he was the guy, the main mover in that. And the defense knows that, right? That's an adjustment that would have been made at halftime.
So 2nd and 5, again from the 13, is Pickard looking at the sideline to try to get a call from the head coach or the offensive coordinator of the Rebels. Head coach is Mark Townsend. Rebels hustle to the line. Pickard going to go up into the center. Going to toss to Lanuzzi with blockers in front of him. Try the right side. He's going to come up short again. It's Bond and Lewis also coming up from his defensive back position to make the stop.
This is where, Travis, last year he was the offensive play caller. This year he's handed that over to Mike Wolfhausen, who's done a fantastic job this year. But this is where Travis, not having having to call offense or a defensive head coach, he's got to be looking for those little nuances in the game. And again, we talked about it. It's tough to get yards going east and west here because of the grass being so slippery. But the defense did a great job of bringing everybody up to stop that. But we're at a point in the game, a point in the season where now they got to be careful, and the defensive backs have to stay at home, right? Like the corner stepped up to help with that tackle, but number 2 is a pretty good athlete back there, right? So he's another guy that you run wide like that, you string it out, and then have one of the receivers kind of block and go, or stalk and go. We used to call it, and again, garner a big play that way, right? So you got to stay disciplined on defense, even if you think, oh, maybe he's going to be able to get that 5 yards himself, and if I step up, I might stop him. The bigger goal is not to give up a touchdown. To this point in the game, the defense haven't given up a point yet, and sometimes when you get in situations like this where the offense looks like they're having are having some success, you have to remind yourself as a defense, hey, we're pretty good, right? Like, let's just settle down and let's make plays because we've been doing it all game.
Well, there's the Rebels. We had a great shot from the camera people here of their timeout discussion with their coach. Pickard is going to come back on the field with Zion Brown as well. 3rd and 4, they're going to go for it. From the 12-yard line. With 8:04 remaining, 3rd quarter, they trail. Trying to pick up a first down here. Pickard up under center. He's going to throw. Pickard's pass is cut by Brown on the slant. He's going to have the first down, still on his feet, fighting for yards. He'll be stopped. Oh, it's a touchdown. The official on the near sideline calling touchdown. The Sun defense doesn't agree. And we'll see if the referees come together or not to have a discussion. But as it stands right now, Brown got himself into the end zone. Too bad we don't have a camera right on the goal line we could see, but a good-looking play. Brown makes a nice catch. He might have broke the plane there on that 2nd attempt.
It definitely would have been close. It all would have been where the ball was when his knee hit. But as mentioned in the CFL, I mean, in the Canadian game, it's a fairly a foregone conclusion. Great play call by the offense. I think the defense knew they were going to throw the ball. Lanuzzi was out of the game, so instead of running into the end zone, they threw the ball short into a player that has great hands, great ability, and he was able to break a tackle and score.
How about that drive for the Rebels after the interception by Lanuzzi? They put 7 points on the board, their first touchdown, their first offensive points of this Cullen Cup championship. A 12-yard touchdown pass to Zion Brown. You mentioned in the first half, that's a guy they want to get the ball in his hands on. And he makes a nice catch here from Pickett's pass. And with 7:57 to go third quarter, it's suddenly just a one-score game.
That's a great example of, throwing the ball to somebody short and having them make a big play. Whoever the defender that was coming inside out on him, again, got caught on a slippery field, and he made not a huge cut, but a little bit of a move, and the defender went down, and again, he was able to punch the ball in the end zone. This will be an interesting point for a coach. Do you now kick the ball deep? Again, Lanuzzi has a strong kick and start the Sun deep, or do you short kick and try and get some momentum?
Looks like a deep kick in the direction of Falconer. Had his own 10, now 15-20. Falconer waiting for some blocks to set. Gets to the 20, or 30, pardon me, and tripped up. There's a flag. Looks like possibly in the spot of holding.
Yeah, it's hard to say because it was right in a bit of a scrum. Usually if you get a
block to the back, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Usually if you get a holding or a block to the back, it's out on the perimeter where it's easy for a referee to see. That looked like it was thrown right in the middle.
It's a hold against the Sun, so that'll take that really good run. And Lanuzzi now is down to a knee in front of the Rebel bench. I'm not sure why he would be down right there. Seems to be okay. He's only a couple yards from the sideline.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be in too much distress. Hopefully it's nothing serious because, he's a fun player to watch and he adds a lot to this game. It's hard to say though. In weather like this, it is a little bit cooler than it's been, most of the season, and the field's a little bit sloppy. So, he might have slipped a little bit and tweaked an ankle. He might have pulled a hamstring a little bit, like something just tightened up. Hopefully it's something that he can overcome and get back into the football game.
I'm just surprised he knelt down there when you could just come off the sideline. But there he is there. He's also a defensive back, so maybe he was about to go set up shop as a defensive player. The guy just doesn't come off the field.
Yeah, he's definitely a throwback player, right? Like, you're on offense, and when you turn the ball over, you score, you just stay on the field, and now you play defense.
Yeah. Seems like a fun kid, too. I had a chance to talk to him before the game. He's going to Italy. First time. He's Italian. He's going to meet a bunch of family members when he goes after the national championship. He said, we had to book it after the national championship game, November 9th. Okay, fair enough. Here's a handoff as we're back to live action. Noah, I believe, had the handoff. Didn't go very far as the Rebel defense able to stuff him up. That was Noah on the carry.
Yeah, they're definitely went back to one of more of their bread and butter plays there. Obviously wasn't able to spring it for a big gain, but got positive yards on first down, which is really what you want. They just got to stop themselves from going backwards.
Yeah. Gain of only 3, 2nd and 7. Big play here for the Rebel defense if they can stop the Sun. Kroger in a shotgun. Falconer in motion. Kroger again keeping himself on the quarterback draw. Runs into one player, bounces off him, and spins around as he's popped, but misses getting enough yards for the first down. Good job initially inside the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure who it was. It was 54. Folto, I believe his last name is. Changed jersey number right at the onset of the game. He comes off, but he was the guy that broke through the line and able to get his first contact on Kroger. And he's fired up on the sideline right now.
Oh, he should be. That was a great play. Again, to stop any good running team, whether it's the running back or the quarterback, like I said earlier, you want to get penetration and make contact in the backfield. And they were able to do that and stopped it in its tracks.
McLarty back deep. Hayes' punt is going to go into the come out of bounds, and this is going to be great field position for the Rebels, who just scored to make it 17-10, and they're going to start their offense at the Sun 46-yard line.
Yeah, definitely the Rebels came out with the momentum. Again, I'm sure the Sun coaches are talking to all their position groups on the sideline about, hey, we need to turn this around. Let's, again, go back to the things that we did. Not overthink, the position. And again, that's where in a championship game, you start thinking about bigger picture things and things get a little bit more urgent when really, especially as a defense, you just need to calm down.
Lanuzzi not in the ball game. They give it to Carter Williams, the backup running back. Williams is still fighting for yards and eventually gets about a carry of 9. Good effort by Carter Williams to sneak through. He's a lot shorter than Lanuzzi, so he was ducking under potential tacklers right there and then carried a Sun player.
Yeah, he got low. He got his pad level low, which you hear a lot about with running backs. Pad level low and keep your legs churning, and he did that. And you know, I think the D lineman that hit him initially around the line of scrimmage was used to somebody, as you said, a lot higher in the air to make contact with.
2nd and 2 for this Rebel offense from the Sun 38-yard line. And they give it to the linebacker. That's Ruther, who has the first down and more as he gets down to the 25-yard line. Great pickup by the fullback / linebacker Ruther.
It's an amazing game how momentum can change. Now we're seeing the Okanagan Sun defense miss a couple of tackles. You know, on the first down play, they had him right at the line of scrimmage. And here, it might have been a first down, but definitely, an un-Sun-like attempt at a tackle, and the running back got about 5 more yards.
So down to the 25-yard line.
Puts him in a very dangerous position now.
1st and 10, just under 5 to play, 3rd quarter. Pickard. He's going to give it to Williams. Williams is going to be stopped as he hits the line of scrimmage as Statham grabbed a hold of his jersey and didn't let go. And Williams stopped short, obviously, of the first down, picked up maybe 2. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, Statham did a good job of keeping his feet under him, you know, and getting contact and just grabbing on, right? Again, you know, we talked about that with El Elyon, how difficult it is for the first person to bring him down. You know, with a running back like that, that's a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker, difficult to make good contact, but just grab onto something and wait for your help to arrive.
Another injured Rebel. It's Ruther this time, who's down to a knee. Trainer is out there, but Ruther's popped up and he'll walk off the field under his own power. He's another player that can play both ways. We've seen him as a fullback, we've seen him as a linebacker. And we haven't seen Lanuzzi. He hasn't been back on the sideline. He must be under that tent that they have tarped off. Can't quite see if he's under there or not.
The dreaded blue tent.
Yes. 2nd and 8. Pickard will fake the handoff. Pickard will keep his feet, look down the field. Pickard will then be stopped. Had nowhere to go. Ethan was looking down the field, thought about running, then thought about passing. By the time it all said and done, it was a short pickup for Pickard. It'll be 3rd and roughly 5 yards.
Yeah, that was, I think, a good business decision by Pickard. He got outside, and he was kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. The cornerback had great coverage on him, on the receiver, but as a quarterback, the guy you got to beat is Jacob Bond.
There's a flag that has come in late here, chirping. And if that's against the Sun, that'll be an automatic first down, will not?
It will be, and that's what really hurts him. You know, those non-football penalties, you can't have that.
Well, it's against the Sun, which gives the Rebels a new set of downs. We'll see where they put the football. Looks like they'll place it at the 11. So 1st and 10 from the 7-11-yard line. After the chirping foul, if you will.
Yeah. And you know, again, we talked about the defense having to settle down and stick with things that worked in the first half. That's not one of them. That's not settling down.
Yeah. 1st and 10 from the 11. Pickard going to give to Williams. Williams will bounce outside, trying to get to that corner. Williams will get into the end zone for a touchdown.
And we got us a ball game just like that.
3:42 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and Williams an 11-yard touchdown run.
The benches have actually, from an excitement level, has completely flip-flop. It's awfully quiet on the Okanagan Sun bench. Some heads down. I think some soul searching going on. The Victoria bench, rightly so. They're animated. Nobody's sitting on the benches. They're all on the sidelines, slapping each other on the helmet. They're starting to have some fun.
What a costly penalty that was. give them a new set of downs, and then the extra point is up and good, and now the ball game is tied 17-17. What a turn of events. The Sun, a 17-3 lead at halftime, has been completely erased. A 12-yard touchdown pass to Brown at 7:57 of this third quarter, made it 17-10, and now Williams, an 11-yard touchdown run. 3:42 to go, and it's tied at 17.
Yeah, the last couple of drives, offensive drives by the Rebels, have obviously been good. They both ended up in scores. The last one was a little defense assisted with that penalty, but they started spreading the ball around a little bit more. You can see Pickard's playing with a little bit more confidence delivering the ball. You know, the offense, I think, for the Sun came out a little bit tight in the second half, and you know, weren't attacking like they were maybe early on. So it'll be interesting to see if we get back to that a little bit.
So the Rebels will kick it away, and now a brand new ball game. Weismer will kick it away. Falconer has it at his own 10. He gets to the 15, the 20. Falconer will, how much more after that? Maybe the 21-yard line. We've seen Lanuzzi out there on the sideline away from, well, now he's under the tent shaking his left leg out.
Yeah, it looks like he's still got his helmet on, and that's always a good sign for a football player. That tells me at some point he'll be back in this football game. Great kick by whoever their backup kicker was. That's
why I bring it up, because Lanuzzi was doing the kickoff duties, but Weismer.
Yeah, well, when you have two guys that can put the ball inside the 10 on a kickoff, that's a good problem to have.
Good. So 1st and 10 for Kroger and company with Noah in the backfield. From their own 21-yard line. Kroger going to go to the air. Kroger down the field looking for Walker, who had it and dropped it, but a flag flies. Right in his back pocket was Cameron Cullen, and they may have got him for pass interference.
Yeah, I think the defense, Ty Walker was definitely past him, and it was a perfect throw by Liam, but the defender had Ty's left hand kind of pinned to his side, so he only could go up with one hand, which is why he obviously didn't come down with it, although he made a pretty good attempt on it, but definitely that was pass interference.
Yep, pass interference, and again in the Canadian Junior game, it's only 15 yards, not from this point of the foul. So 1st down. 3:09, the Sun trying to answer 2 straight touchdowns by the Rebels.
See if they can dig some momentum out of that. Only a 15-yard penalty, as we discussed, so get the ball just across the 35-yard line.
1st and 10 there. 5 receivers for Kroger to work with, and Noah in the backfield. Kroger will fake it to Noah, wants to go down the field, has Walker again. This one excellently defended by Boulton.
That was Marcus Burden that time on the corner route. The ball was definitely underthrown. One of the things that you see a lot of receivers doing nowadays at all levels is, when the ball comes, they try and fade away as they catch the ball, and their instinct is to create separation from the defender. But when you have a defender in trail like that, he's coming as hard as he can to try and close that ground. What you need to do as a receiver is actually come back towards the football and go up strong. And if you don't catch it, you create a pass interference.
2nd and 10, crossing route. The ball is caught by Falconer, fumbles the football. The Sun will recover. Trommelach was there to recover, but shy of the 1st down. And Falconer slow to get up. Got hit hard and thrown.
Looks like
down.
The linebacker, I think it was number 14, either got his helmet or his shoulder pad right on the football there. Yeah, as he tried to go up and over. I think he was trying to fight for a few extra yards. You get tackled there, we're punting the ball anyway. But that was a great tackle. As a defender, you see a lot of defenders will be coached to try and knock the ball out with their hands and use it as a little, as a club. But if you can put your helmet or your shoulder pad right on the ball when you tackle them, you have a good chance of success.
Well, the Rebels defense holds even after the pass interference call, and Hay will kick this one away. Good high kick. McFlaherty has it here. He will get to the 30, run backwards, and he'll be caught. Good pursuit tackle. McFlaherty just didn't have anywhere to go.
That was, again, at this level, you expect teams to be coached very well. We have talked that there's been a few mistakes that have been costly, but in general, especially on special teams, the player that was tasked in having contained number 38 did.
Yeah, Webb.
Sorry?
Webb.
Yeah. So the returner looked like he might get outside, but he's running really right to where Webb wanted him to go and was able to make the play.
So 1:57 to go, third quarter. Tie ball game, 17-17, I should say. Ruther is in the backfield along with Williams, who had an 11-yard touchdown run a few minutes ago. Gets the handoff here, gets into the Sun second layer, and almost another first down for Williams. Picks up 9, maybe 9.5. It'll be second and short.
Definitely looks like West Shore's made some kind of adjustment up front. It's easy to tell if the adjustments, do we run the ball more, do we throw the ball more? But at the first half, those runs were going nowhere.
Yeah.
They're being met at the line of the scrimmage with the defensive lineman. Now he's 3-4 yards into the backfield before he's getting touched. So they've made some kind of a blocking adjustment up front that's definitely having impact. And we'll see if the Okanagan Sun defense can counter that, whether that's by bringing pressure, which would be linebackers coming up and filling those holes, or another option you would have as a defensive coach is to run a stunt and have your defensive linemen kind of twist and not just run straight up field and make it a little, or slant, meaning they'll, instead of going straight up field, they'll all go left or they'll all go right, just trying to throw off the angles of the offensive line. So there's adjustments that, in-game adjustments that the Okanagan Sun, that Shane Beatty could make. You don't want to be giving up 8-9 yards a pop.
Yeah. In this case, it was 9 yards and some inches because they they measured to see if it would be a first down. They came up just shy. So it'll be second and inches.
And another call, or an interesting call by the coach of the Rebels. If they were down by a touchdown or two, when you get second and inches, even down in your end like this, I could see them running some kind of a play action and taking a shot deep to try and get a big play. Now that it's 17-17, you might be a little bit more traditional and just get the first down and keep the momentum going.
See what they call here. The referee's not blown in the play yet. As referee on the far sideline working with the chain. And finally he blows it in. So second and inches. Pickard up under the center. Pickard will give to Ruther, the fullback, and he'll have the first down easily as he gets across the 45. And it'll be a fresh set of downs, but it looks like there's a flag in the Rebel backfield.
Yeah, this, again, it looks like the Rebels are walking backwards. It's either a holding, or sometimes you'll see a face mask in that area, but the Rebels are already starting to give ground.
Yep. And that's a big call. It's a big break for the Sun. So holding a call against the Rebels negates the first down and pushes the Rebels back 10 yards. So now it'll be second and 10. An easy first down is taken away.
Yep. And this is again where, the championship game vibes kind of start to creep in. Guys start trying to do a little too much, right? And, again, I'm sure they would have got the first down without the hold, and in hindsight, as a player, as a coach, you have those conversations after the fact. That's not a place you want to take that penalty, obviously.
So second and 10 after the holding call. Pickard now in a shotgun. Redirecting his backfield, Ruther and Williams. Pickard going to hand the ball here to Williams, who will try the right side. He has nowhere to go and forced out of bounds. Good pursuit defense by the Sun. Gave up nothing, and now the Rebels will have to kick. So moments ago, it looked like they had a first down, but boy, things can quickly change.
Yeah, and again, the defensive adjustment to them being able to run the ball up the middle is that time, again, they brought pressure. They brought a halfback blitz, and they brought some linebackers. So they're basically bringing more guys up front than West Shore is able to block. So again, blitzing to stop the run, and that way they're accounting for every gap, and you're not going to get those running back, or the running backs pop through.
Wiersma will fumble the snap. Wiersma will have to collect it. Now he's going to take off and eventually does get a kick away. It's a high kick. It takes a Rebels bounce. It will be picked up by the Sun at the Rebel 50-yard line. A flag flies for no yards, but they're very fortunate that the ball is not even closer to the end zone after the ball would snap.
They were very fortunate. Whoever the outside looked like a blocker for the Okanagan Sun saw the ball on the ground and came up, and again just couldn't get his footing, allowed the kicker to go by him. And great heads-up job by the West Shore kicker, because obviously in Canadian football you can kick the ball anywhere downfield, and rather than some kickers would just say, oh, there's been a bad play, I wasn't able to kick it on time, so I'm going to run with it. But he kept his head up and at least got it a little bit downfield.
And that was
no yards of a
5 yard.
There you go.
Sun 1st and 10 from the Rebel 46-yard line. They have 5 receivers on the far side. The pass is complete to Noah on the, wide receiver screen, the bubble screen. It goes absolutely nowhere despite having all those receivers out there for blockers. It's a gain of maybe 2.
Yeah, again, a good safe play. I mean, obviously would have liked more yardage from that play, but you take a gamble when you put it into the short side of the field. You're hoping that the defense doesn't adjust and overload the short side, but it also doesn't give a player like Noah a lot of room to operate, and a lot of room to maneuver on the short side.
Be the final play of the third quarter. 2nd and long, 2nd and 9. Kroger over the middle. This ball will be complete. No, it's intercepted. Picked off by the Rebels. They'll bring it back the other way and forced out of bounds. Intercepted by Bunting, who has a nice game here today. And the Rebels take the ball right back.
I think that was a completed pass. I have to watch the replay, but just got ripped out of the arms of the Okanagan receiver.
Good job by Bunting.
Yeah, that was an effort play, right? Like I said, the pass was on the money, should have been caught, was caught initially, but defense of the Bunting wanted that ball a little bit more and just ripped it right out of his hands. Was able to get some kind of return, so getting the ball at midfield is a good result for the defense.
Yeah, after that botched kick, which looked like it was bad news. The kicker did get the ball off, and then the Rebel defense holds and does a nice job to win another turnover battle. I believe that's the 2nd interception, if I'm not mistaken, this half. The Sun picked off 2 passes in the first half. The Rebels now 2 here in the second half.
And the Rebels are doing a better job throwing the ball and not just lofting it downfield. They're throwing more of those intermediate routes like that one.
Brown with the reception. Pick up 9.
When they were putting the ball down the field, the Okanagan Sun defensive backs were sitting back a little bit and were kind of playing center field and intercepting those. These are a much more ball-controlled West Coast offense kind of passes where, they're just sitting in the zones, kind of much like Sam Melanson did in the first half, and just taking what they're given.
This is what the Huskers did last week too. In the first half, started to work the ball down with these short passes. Rebels will hand the ball here to Williams. Williams sneaks through, still on his feet into the Sun secondary, and finally brought down once he gets to the 35-yard line. Great run by Carter Williams.
That was a great run, yeah. One of the good things about having a defense that has a lot of flexibility and a lot of ability to change up their looks, though, is that they're going to get caught out of position now and again. They're going to, hence the 2 plays ago, they had the defensive back drop back and they threw the ball underneath. They just got to keep mixing it up and make it hard on the quarterback.
1st and 10. Pickard will give it to Williams again. Williams not much room to run this time as he tries the right side. Center trying to snag that ball away from him. And finally, somebody's pushed down at the end. I'm not sure that was Williams who eventually went down. The Sun fortunate did not get a penalty.
It looked a little weird. It almost looked like he got pushed over by his own player. So I don't know if maybe, he thought he was going to take a penalty or something and just got him out of the pile, but looked a little weird.
Short gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for this Rebel offense. Make it 2nd and 8 from the Sun 33-yard line. Doing all this with their star running back / defensive back / Mr. Everything, Lanuzzi, on the sideline. Pickard going to go to the air again. Pickard, his throw is going to be intercepted. Nobody there but Lewis, his 3rd of the afternoon. Lewis taking it back the other way. Gets it to the 50-yard line, still on his feet, pushed out of bounds inside Rebel territory. Nobody in the vicinity other than Lewis.
Oh, they got back to exactly what they had avoided all half. was trying to throw the ball deep down the seams that, you know, and Lewis was just playing center field again. He was just standing there waiting for the ball. And, you know, the difference in quarterbacking, and Picard has played very well, but the arm strength difference between him and Liam, because the exact same thing happened. He broke contain going away from his throwing arm, and it's really hard to get your body turned around and get a lot on that, whereas Liam did early in the game, and that one just floated a little bit.
They give it to Noah. Noah up the middle. Noah's got his best run of the afternoon into Rebel territory. Still on his feet. Noah's going to get into the end zone for a touchdown. But there's a flag.
I think this one might be coming back, but to have a player that can just take a game in his hands and do something like that is special. So even though this is going to come back, it looks to me like it might be after the first down, so they'll still be in decent position with 1st and 10. But it's still a boost to the offense to know you have a guy that can just single-handedly do something like that.
What a run. 55-yard run, but it's taken away after the penalty. I didn't see what the referee's call was from the official. So you're right, Jay, after the first down carry.
Yeah, if that happens before the first down, then it's tougher because now you're second down in a hole. This one, I mean, I'm sure they would rather have the touchdown than a first down, but if you're going to have a hold, this is probably the best case scenario.
What a run. The crowd's still buzzing after that run by Noah. So 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. This time Kroger's going to run off the left side. Kroger runs into his own guy and still able to fall forward for a pickup of about 9 yards. McMahon on the stop.
Yeah, mixing it up. I saw Lillian came out after that long run. He's just coming back into the field to play now. So, you know, you may see him on a 2nd and 4 get the ball here. It'll be interesting to see what the call is, but on 1st down with him out of the game, that was a designed quarterback run. And, you know, you had Tristan, who's a pretty strong running back out lead blocking in front of him. It was a good call.
Picked up 6, so 2nd and 4. Noah in the backfield. Kroger takes the snaps, gives it to Noah. Noah up the middle and should have the first down.
If you watch on the replay, if they show it, you watch the middle linebacker. This is one where it's good on good. Like they knew it was coming. 39 steps up, right up in the middle. The Sun run the ball right where he was and are able to get the first down.
Wow. It was Ruther that came up. So they give him the first down, gets to the 35. Got just enough. So 1st and 10 from the 35. Kroger in a shotgun. Noah right beside him. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Now they move a man in motion. That's Chromalok. Pass is caught by Falconer. Falconer gets to the 30, the 25, and he has another first down. Good second effort by Falconer. And how about the wide receiver blocking downfield?
Yeah, it was a great job blocking downfield. And Falconer does a good job of setting up his blockers too. You know, we talked about it earlier, when you're a receiver and you're blocking in space, a defensive back has what they call a two-way go. He can go left of you, he can go right of you. So what a running back will do, or a receiver carrying the ball will do, is set that defender up and start to lean one way and have the defender commit and then cut back the other way. It makes that job of the blocker that much easier.
So 1st and 10 from the Rebel 24-yard line. Kroger wants to pass, and he's hammered. Sacked. The ball is loose, and it will be Sun football. But the Rebels, a blitz from the quarterback's blind side. Nobody picks him up, and it's a big sack by Nirvamont.
It's hard to say. I know Noah was in there, and he was looking to help out on the right, which is play side. Now, whether he was put there by design or thought somebody was coming and they disguised it and came off of the other side, you know, that's somebody that probably should have been picked up. I'm sure Liam thought he was going to be picked up, but it's obviously in a tough situation. You know, really, when you get first down on the inside the 25, you got to be thinking points. Now they got to go back to think field position and get into a situation, even if they're kicking a rouge here, that's positive.
2nd and 26 is Chromalok, who makes the reception, gets back to the initial line of scrimmage. So a pickup of 16. It's going to be 3rd and 10. We'll see if they bring in Atwood for a potential field goal attempt.
Like I said, a field goal from here is best case scenario. It does look like Atwood's in the game, but they would have talked to their guys up front blocking to get down and try and make a tackle, because you want to get at least a point here.
A 31-yard field goal attempt.
3 preferably, but a point would be huge.
Sure. Liam Atwood. Ball right in the middle of the field. Snap good, hold good. Kick is up, and it is good as well. A 31-yard field goal, yep. And the Sun retake the lead with 8:43 remaining.
It's a very curious defense by the Rebels. Their kick returner, just as the ball was snapped, came running out of the end zone into about the 10 or 12 yard line. You know, if that ball doesn't go through the uprights and misses the, or doesn't go through the end of the field, the Okanagan Sun would have the kicker and the holder that are onside and nobody down there to field the ball. And even if one of the Rebels does run back and pick it up, you know, the chance of getting it out of the end zone would have been a lot tougher.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what the plan was. Maybe they thought it was a good, you know, from 30 yards out, it was a good position to fake it. I don't know.
So the Sun retake the lead, 20-17. We'll see how the Rebels can respond now. And they'll elect to take the ball without the kickoff at the 35-yard line. Pickard up under center. He'll give to Williams, who avoids Hickingbottom, but not the second wave of defenders, and that would be Bond, I believe. No, Fensky, pardon me. They came up to make the hit after Hickingbottom disrupted the timing in the backfield.
That's going to be a name that that we're going to be talking about hopefully for a number of years with the Okanagan Sun is Ethan Fensky. Such a good athlete, but what makes him good is he's always in the right place. He's always positionally sound, so it allows him to make those plays. But just got great athleticism to not let him get outside of him.
The Kelowna athlete too,
yep.
Isn't it? KSS. Yeah. So 2nd and 12, call it, after Williams loses 2 on the play. Pickard, that's a word from Brown. And now I'm not sure what the call is.
Could be a time
here.
count. Usually if it comes from the back judge like that, it's a time count.
It was interesting that the receiver Brown came and talked to the quarterback and then tried to get back into position. An offensive lineman stood up, and then it was a delay of game. A lot going on in that.
Yeah. Back to Fensky. He was the Okanagan Suns award winner for Rookie of the Year. I know there was a little bit of, and there always is a little bit of discussion after the season that he wasn't the major award winner for Rookie of the Year for the BCFC. But you know, the Sun were fortunate enough to take home a lot, so I think it might have been a decision based on that.
Pickard back to pass, avoiding all sorts of pressure. Just going to throw this one onto the track. He showed off some arm strength there.
Yep. Again, good decision by him. There was nothing to be had downfield. You know, he's floated a few for interceptions, and you got Jacob Bond bearing down again on you. One of the, you know, definitely the best player in our conference, and could be one of the best defensive players in the country. You just want to get rid of that.
We'll find out in 2 weeks if he is the best defensive player in the country, as he's the BC representative for the Defensive Player of the Year across the CJFL. There's a linebacker in Regina, Stephen Smith, who's equally as good, and a defensive lineman out of St. Clair in Windsor, who are the competition, I guess you could say, for Jacob Bond. Kick is a high, long one. Collected by Page at his own 45. Page to the 50, trying to get to the corner, midfield, now Rebel territory, and he'd be pushed out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Good return by Page. Great field position for this Sun offense.
You know, it's funny. Once being a head coach, you can never shake the head coach in you. As soon as you see him break into open territory and kind of get the corner, I'm not even watching the ball carrier. I'm just looking in the backfield for flags, because you want to be prepared for where you're going to get the ball. But good job that time of not holding by the Okanagan Sun and still creating some gaps for the ball carrier.
Looking in the backfield, holding your breath too, I'm sure.
Done enough of that, yeah.
So 1st and 10 from the Rebel 42-yard line. Kroger in the backfield in a shotgun. He'll give it here to Noah. He'll try the right side. Stutter steps. Noah to the 35, and he'll be brought down just shy of the first down.
So again, I've talked about this a couple of times, and here's a situation where because they don't do the ball under center that often, they may just want to run the ball and get positive yards here. Being an old offensive coordinator, this is a great spot to maybe do a play action pass and take a shot at the end zone, because you know you're going to go for it on third down. But you know these third downs have been hard to come by.
Yeah.
So maybe the smart move is to give it to Noah.
They do. He'll go up the middle, and he'll get the first down. One Sun player lost his helmet. As Sun gets inside, Noah gets inside the 30-yard line.
I think Caden Kerntoff, the BC nominee for the outstanding offensive lineman, number 70, got his
hat.
Sorry?
He lost his hat?
Yeah, he lost his hat. Usually that happens when a defender will get his hand up in his face. And pretty standard for an offensive lineman to turn around and look and, hey, you call us for holding all the time. How about a little help here? But he didn't get it.
1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Kroger shotgun. They give to Noah again. He'll try the outside, the right side, and Noah will be stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It was interesting. The receiver that was set up there came inside and then started to run her out. There was nobody out there to block for Noah, and he ran into 3 West Shore Rebels.
Yeah, the receivers are typically taught that if you think the defensive back is playing man coverage on you and you can turn their eyes and get them to run with you downfield, that's better than a block if you can run them 30 yards downfield. But that's one of those plays that if you make that decision and he doesn't go with you, then you got an unblocked man at the point of attack.
2nd and long here to be 2nd and 12, call it, right at the 30-yard line. Pedal now in the ball game. Kroger going to go to the air. Kroger has time, going to roll to his left. Now he's going to take off as he tucks it under his arm, and he'll slide at the 20. He'll be shy of the first down by a couple of yards, depending on the spot. Ooh, they're going to put it back at about the 21.
That's a tough one. You know, quarterbacks are always taught to slide and protect themselves. At times like that, you know, as a coach, especially, you know, not that a player is ever expendable, but you know, you got a guy that started for you all season on the bench. You need that first down.
Okay. He'll go get it, and it's a championship game. Right?
Yeah. So my guess, if he was running the other direction and could see the sticks, he probably would have dropped his shoulder or made a move. Going the other way, I'm sure he thought he had the first down.
So a 28-yard field goal attempt for Liam Atwood from the left hash. Atwood's kick is up, and it is good. A 28-yard field goal for Liam Atwood, and he's got all the points so far in this 4th quarter with 4:18 remaining.
That's a great confidence boost as a coaching staff for the Sun when you got a guy that in these conditions is just stroking it from 30 yards out. You know, it makes your play calling a lot easier when you, you know, if you are tasked with a late game march to have to get some points, and you know that, hey, we need to get to the ball to the 30 or the 25, and then we're going to get points out of this. Because both field goals this half have been right down the middle.
3 field goals for Atwood on the afternoon. A 13-yarder back in the 1st quarter. Now here in the 4th, he's hit from 31 and from 28. The Rebel offense will come back on the field. It looks like the Rebels want to call a timeout. Pardon me, the Sun want to call a timeout.
Yeah, they didn't have enough guys on the field. So I don't know if somebody just didn't know that they were going to take the ball. It's the Rebels' choice after a field goal to take the ball in the 35 or receive a kickoff, and typically what you have is a player that just assumes that they're going to kick off, and I'm not on kickoff cover, so I'm going to relax for a few more minutes, and then all of a sudden you got everybody yelling at you.
Yeah. So 1st and 10 after this timeout, 23-17 with 4:13 to go. This game might come right down to the wire, right down to the last possession.
Yeah. This will be an interesting drive. You know, we're at the time where, you know, if we get a couple of quick stops, the Rebels could think, hey, we got time to punt it and get the ball back. Or they could be in third down situation, do or die, and you could start seeing some trick plays coming out.
First and 10 from the 35. Pickard back to pass. Across on the crossing route. He's got his man. That's Brown who makes the reception. And he'll pick up 8 on the play, maybe 9. Pardon me, that's Williams that made the reception. Lyndon Williams.
Yeah, they...
oh, no, that was Brown.
Yep.
Pardon me.
And that's, that's with Lanuzzi still not back on the field. I see he's now got his helmet off. That's the guy that they're going to try and get the ball to.
He's favoring his left leg, so it might be a hamstring issue, or he's got all his uniform on other than his helmet. And they give it to Williams. Williams with a nice cut back, gets to the 50, now into Sun territory, and he's tackled around the head by Bond. No call on any horse collar tackle. That was Armand, or Borhot. Man, I'll get there.
I can help you with that one because his uncle played for us back when I coached. Celine Borhot was a safety as well, a fantastic player. So I yelled that name a lot when he was playing safety for me. No, good kid, good player. Not a kid anymore.
No.
That was many moons ago.
Yeah. That's his nephew out there now for the Sun. First and 10 inside Sun territory at the 53-yard line. Pickard in a shotgun, wants to throw. His pass is caught over the middle. Reception by Brown. Bond on the tackle inside the 50. Call it the 47-yard line.
Now with 2.5, it was different when it was 4 minutes, but now with 2.5 minutes to go, they will definitely be in 3-down territory here. So he's still in a pretty good position for the Rebels with 2nd and 5. They don't need to get the first down. Obviously they're going to want to get positive yards, and first down would be ideal. But if they don't, you pretty much guarantee they'll go for it on 3rd down in this position.
I think you have to with the time the way it is. From the 47, call it 2nd and 4. Pickard in a shotgun. Gonna go to the air. Pickard over the middle. The ball is caught. His intended receiver, that's Williams, who makes the reception. Looks like he'll be shy of the first down by just inches. And a 3rd down here.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna measure it. I guess they've decided not to, but it's pretty darn close. So I'm sure we'll see a sneak here. This is a situation, you could gamble and maybe run some kind of a play action pass, assuming that the defense is going to think you're going to run it and go for the end zone. But I'd be more inclined here just to get the first down and regroup.
So here we go, 3rd and inches. Ruther, the linebacker, the fullback, will get the handoff. He's met right at the line of scrimmage, but should have enough for a first down, and he will. And the Rebels
good call.
March on.
Good call. There's nothing fancy about that. The quarterback, like I said, has the ball under center, which, it's more deceptive to a defense than you think, because now you have the option that they could just run a quarterback sneak. So as a defense, you got to be up and aggressive and play that. And then you get that second wave of ball carrier coming at you when the offensive line have been able to set up their blocks.
Yeah. Full head of steam, too, from a couple of yards back.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 5 seconds to go and counting.
The touchdown's no good for them here, so they got to keep the ball moving because this has got to go in the end zone if you're a Rebel fan.
And a shotgun. Williams in the backfield. Now he'll depart. Pickard over the middle again. This one batted back and falls incomplete. The Sun will jump on it, but it is an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 10. Let's see if we can see who got their big hand on it here on this replay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was.
Tough to see.
Yeah, but it was a good job they did. That was an all-out blitz, and my guess is because they were expecting to run and wanted to fill the gaps. There was nobody in the middle of the field, so if that ball gets through, I think Zion Brown was wide open.
Fortunate for the Sun. Now 2nd and 10 for West Shore. From the Sun 41-yard line. He's in a shotgun as Pickard. Pickard, quick throw. It is incomplete. Too high of his intended receiver in Brown. And now here's 3rd and 10, which could be the ball game. 1:47 to go.
Yeah, this is, I think if the Sun get the ball back here, they can't kill the clock, but they can take a significant chunk out of it. I would imagine you'll see 2 doses of Noah and a punt. That would be the game plan if they get the ball back. Throwing the ball downfield has not been the MO for the Rebels. They've taken a timeout here, which I think is a great call because we need to dial up something. Your options as an offensive coordinator here are, again, I think they've only completed 1 ball for more than 10 yards in the third quarter there.
Yeah, you might be right, yeah.
So, I don't know, as a play caller, I don't know if that's the option. They could look at, again, getting the ball in the hands of Zion underneath and hope he can run for a first down. You may see a little bit of a trick play, like a hook and ladder or something, like a shorter throw, but then a pitch or a swing out to somebody else. They have had success running the game, but I don't know that I'd want to, with the game on the line, hang my hat on running the ball here. So
that's tough to defend too. I mean, the trick plays, you're going to throw everything you can. Your season's somewhat on the line right here, right now.
Yeah, my bet would be they're going to throw the ball downfield and hope for the best, or some sort of a shorter trick play.
3 receivers to the right side. Pickard back to pass. Here comes the pressure. Pickard will escape from that. Pickard still looking for somebody, has nowhere to go, and he'll be out of bounds. So the Sun defense hold. The secondary gave Pickard nowhere to throw.
A great chest pass. Good call by the defense. They dropped people in coverage. I thought they actually had him in the backfield, but 2 Okanagan Sun defenders ran into each other, knocked himself off the ball.
Right.
And, I think Pickard did everything he could. Good little athlete. I mean, he extends the play, does as much as he can, but there's nobody open downfield. There's nowhere to go. The only thing I think as a coaching point you would do is you're still better to float that downfield and hope for something good to happen than run out of bounds knowing you're short, right?
Yeah.
Just take a shot. Nobody's going to fault him for trying.
So first down for the Sun. They're going to run the Wildcat with Noah in the backfield. He has the handoff. Noah with a spin gets to the 50 and almost to midfield.
Yeah, great call by the Okanagan Sun. Just get the short yardage out there. Like I said, their game plan now is run the ball, and you have to punt. Obviously, a first down is your desired goal.
Sure.
But, if you put them out there, even if you run it twice and punt it, you're still going to have a good chance of winning this football game.
So 1st and 10 from their own 52-yard line. They're going to leave Noah as the Wildcat. Boltzma, the defensive lineman, in the backfield. So is Hickingbottom. They give it to Noah on the direct snap. Noah really has nowhere to go. Bunting, in on the stop. It'll be 2nd and 9.5.
Yeah, the only thing I think hurts you a little bit in this situation, I still agree with the call, but having Noah in as the, quarterback or Wildcat quarterback, he's not as used to milking the clock as a quarterback would be, and I think they ended up snapping that ball with a little bit of time on the left that they could have run down a little bit more, killed a little bit more of the clock.
Direct snap again. He'll try the right side. Well, Noah avoids the first tackler, but the second wave, good job by the Rebels in their pursuit. And it will be 3rd down now. Here's that punt you're talking about. 45 seconds.
Absolutely.
The clock is stopped at the moment.
Yeah.
We should say the London Beefeaters have beaten the Quinte Skyhawks in the Ontario Conference semifinals. So London will play in the Ontario final. Find out who their opponent is tomorrow with the other semifinal. It's a blowout, 65-7 in London today.
Those aren't fun, with this game, I think, what's that?
In a playoff game, too.
Well, in any game, but especially a playoff game.
Fair enough.
The benefit here is, again, it's looking pretty good for the Okanagan Sun. Travis is on the field. I think he was looking at giving some last-minute instructions, maybe to let the time clock run down or take as much time as you possibly can before you kick this away. But the good thing is whoever wins this game has been in a battle and will be better tested for next week.
McLarty is the returner for the Rebels, standing at around his own 19-yard line, and the Sun are just happy to let this clock tick away, and then I'm sure they'll call it timeout. 24 seconds remaining.
My guess is, again, not being a head coach anymore, I don't keep track of timeouts.
Yeah.
But I think they would have took a timeout if they had it. But the most important thing was milk every second off the clock. They'll give up, I guess, a 10-yard march off is less important than 10 seconds off the clock.
But when you do kick this one away, the Rebels are a little bit closer.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm sure played into that is the fact that the Rebels need to score a touchdown, not a field goal. So it's still a long way to go as long as they get down there and cover.
Okay, the kicker gets this one away. Line drive kick. McLarty has it at his own 35-yard line. Good coverage by the Sun. And they will bring him down at about the 39-yard line. Boy, for a low line drive kick, the cover team got down there very quickly.
Yeah, they did. The other thing that plays into it, well, first of all, to talk about that, Victoria brought an all-out blitz. At that point, you decide, okay, we're going to try and block the kick, or we're going to set up a return. They chose to block the kick. Well, that front wave of guys, once you've initialized your block and shed them, now there's nobody to block you downfield. So if you don't get to the punt to block it, then your
return man's kind of left hanging out to dry.
For sure.
So 1st and 10 Rebels from their own 39-yard line.
And I think Victoria's not having a lot of success throwing the ball downfield also played into giving up that 10 yards.
Sun will rush 4. Pickard wants to go to the air. Nobody there again. Pickard rolls to his left, or right, pardon me, throws it to Williams right at the sideline. Makes the catch. And then the Sun's social media guy gets knocked down. Jason Harding, a little too close.
A little too intent in getting the picture. I'm sure he got a great shot at the catch, but didn't get out of the way in time.
He's not looking. Didn't even get the good shot.
You know what? I like to see that with the Rebels. There's no give up. That receiver actually slipped and fell down. I thought the quarterback was going to throw the ball away. They both stuck with it and made a play.
Yep. And a first down catch as well. So to the Rebel 50-yard line. 6 seconds to go.
Probably the last play of the game. You might be able to get a short pass out of bounds, but I don't think it gains you much. So I think you'll see him.
Pickard going down the field. This one will be intercepted. Picked off. And this game is over. Fensky with the interception, and the Okanagan Sun are BC Conference champions. 23-17 is the final.
It's always fun to see a late interception and the DB wants to run it all the way back and everybody else is yelling at him, just get out, we've won the football game. It's good to see. And you know what, a great battle by the Rebels there. Like I said, it's gonna definitely bode well for the Okanagan Sun moving forward to be in a game like that. They've had some games that have been a little easier for them, but they had to go into all their bag of tricks. They had to kind of run everything or bring out everything they had, but they were in a battle, and they'll remember that.
Great game by the Rebels, great season as well, going into Langley last week to upset the Rams, who were the 2nd seed. The Rebels had a heck of a season and a heck of a game here, and unfortunately, Lanuski, who we saw so much in that first half and had some success, we didn't see him much in the second half. He was injured, and he didn't come back, so it was a big loss. Obviously takes away that piece of the offensive puzzle for the Rebels, and he was missed out there, but credit the Sun defense, credit their offense. They did just enough. And how about 2 field goals in the 4th quarter to seal the win after the Rebels came back and tied it?
Yeah, there's no quit the Rebels. I think, it's not the desired outcome that they had coming into this game, obviously. But they got a lot to be happy about with this game. I think, their quarterback, and again, I'm not really sure from a year perspective what, who's coming back and who's not. I believe they're a fairly young team and a fairly young new coaching staff. But the quarterback, did some really good things, extended the play. I think there's huge upside for him. Yeah. Again, Lanuzzi was a man amongst boys. I'm not sure where he fits in as far as eligibility left, but if they're able to return him, they definitely lost some punch when he came out of the game, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a good battle. That's what you want to see. You want to see that in a championship game for sure. I think the league itself the Huskers, Chilliwack Huskers, the Langley Rams were both very strong this year. Maybe from a depth perspective, we're not where they wanted to be, and I think maybe that, especially again as mentioned with Lanuzi going down where the Rebels were this year, the Sun just had more depth. I mean, I think there was 3 or 4, if you count this, 4 games, where they had to come back. Not that this was a comeback, but they were tied late.
Yeah.
But they had to really pour it on in the fourth quarter, and great recruiting by Travis, and it's a depth thing, right? Like they just had the bodies to do that.
So the Sun will advance. There's a picture of the Rebels on your screen. A great season once again. But again, the Okanagan Sun remain undefeated now, 12-0 this year. They will head to Saskatchewan next week. That CJFL National Semifinal game will be on Sunday, October the 27th. It'll be either in Saskatoon or Regina. The last time the Sun were in Saskatoon was 2015 for the Canadian Bowl. Last time they were in Regina just 2 years ago, also for the Canadian Bowl. They won in Regina, didn't do so well in Saskatoon. So the Sun are going to, well, there's the BC Cullen Cup at midfield on the table, and they'll call over the captains. And then there'll be a celebration. Here at the Apple Bowl, there's Tyler McLaren, the president. They're giving him the microphone. That's scary.
Yeah, that's for sure. This could be a while. One thing you like to see, though, before they get into the actual awards, is the BCFC really do it well, where everybody lines up on the fields and shows each other respect.
Let's go down to Tyler. I think we have his.
For field goals today from the Okanagan Sun, Liam Atwood.
Atwood, the special teams player of the game.
Yeah, well deserved. He was rock solid back there. We talked about that. If it does come down to a late minute field goal, he's money in the bank. He's been that all year for them. He's really worked on his craft. They brought in Derek Duval, a kicking coach this year, and I think he
the
really
defensive
got
player of the game.
A lot of help for that.
From the Okanagan Sun, he had 3 interceptions. Number 27, David Lewis.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Not a surprise there.
Yeah.
He was a ball hawk today.
So Lewis had 3 interceptions. Fensky had 1 at the end. Atwood had 3 field goals for the special teams player of the game.
Yeah.
Who do you give the offensive?
All this would make my wife happy. She's 3's her lucky number.
Okay.
And our offensive player of the game. Also from the Okanagan Sun with over 100 yards total offense, number 1, Elian Noah.
Yeah, I think this was the right call for Elian. He definitely was the spark, the engine that drove the Sun offense. I don't know if it was his typical day where it was just ground and pound and big running plays, but he did a bit of everything. He caught the ball a couple times in huge situations and got first downs for them. I think he put the team on his back the last couple of drives and got some, hugely positive plays. He quarterbacked that short yardage on the goal line.
Also, when you have a guy like him, just the threat of him getting the ball, no matter what, the psyche of the Rebels is like, well, we got to know where number 1 is, and that leaves somebody else open, and that leads to big plays for other players.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think it helped a little bit with Liam Kruger in there at quarterback, just because he's a little bit more of a threat to run. But again, we're in good shape with 2 quality quarterbacks and different styles. But I think that created a little bit of space for Elian.
So the Sun, they move on. The Rebels season is done. So is the BC Conference schedule. It is now fully complete. We move on to a national semifinal game next week in Saskatchewan. If you're paying attention to the CJFL, London has moved on in the Ontario Conference. St. Clair and Ottawa play in a semifinal tomorrow, and the Prairie Conference, which is more notable and one game that we want to pay a little bit more attention to, the Prairie Conference final, because that's where the Sun will go next. Saskatoon taking on Regina coming up tomorrow. So really quickly, we'll do a scoring summary for those just tuning in. The Rebels actually started off with a lead, a 1-0 Rouge off the opening kickoff, made it 1-0. Then Elian Noah on a Wildcat offense, scampering in from a yard out with 12:04 remaining in the first quarter. That made it 7-1. Then a conceded Sun safety made it 7-3 with 8:09 in the first quarter. And then right at the end of the first quarter with zeros on the clock, Liam Atwood kicked his first of 3 field goals on the afternoon, this one from 13 yards out, and it made it 10-3 after the first quarter. Only one piece of scoring in the second quarter, a 26-yard touchdown pass to Falconer from Kroger at 6:34 of the second quarter made it 17-3. That was the score at halftime. It was all Rebels in the third quarter. Brown got a 12-yard touchdown pass from Pickard at 7:57 in the third quarter, made it 17-10. Then they tied the ball game. Williams scampered in from 11 yards out on the ground at 3:42 of the third quarter, made it 17-17 going into the fourth quarter. And then 2 field goals from Atwood, one from 31 yards out at 8:43, the other from 28 yards out at 4:18. Gave the Sun the victory and ultimately the Cullen Cup, their second in 3 years, with the final score 23-17. Next week, the Sun will head to Saskatchewan for the CJFL National Semifinal game. The location will be determined tomorrow when the Hilltops host the Regina Thunder in what will turn out to be a pretty classic game, and the Sun will head to the winner there. So until we talk to you at that time, my broadcast partner Jay Christensen and all the great folks who made this broadcast happen here this afternoon, I'm Ryan Waters. So long from the Apple Bowl. And they fake it to Noah, roll out, make the pass to Falconer. Falconer will dive for the pylon. Which has been brought in. Noah's going to be the quarterback in the Wildcat. Noah will fake the toss. He'll keep it himself, get into the end zone for a touchdown. So a good has been brought in. Noah's going to be the quarterback in the Wildcat. Noah will fake the toss. He'll keep it himself, get into the end zone for a touchdown. So a good line. Kroger in a shotgun again, looking left. Now down the middle, has his man. It is cut. That's Melanson inside the 10. Hash. Bird in the holder. The kick is up, and it is good this time. And a 13-yard field goal from Atwood extends the Sun lead to 10. First and 10 for Kroger from his own 50-yard line. Going to go back to pass. Kroger going down the far sideline. This one is intercepted. What a pick. Kroger will fake the handoff. Kroger will avoid the sack. His throw is cut by Walker. What a reception by the
good rivalry itself, Saskatoon and Regina.
Second and very short. Kroger going to find his man. That's Falconer, who has the first down. The 20, makes a side step to the 10-5. Touchdown! Bounced off another tackler and gets into the end zone for a 26-yard.
Really not move the ball offensively, and you know they're kind of scratching their heads. It's tough.
Well, there's an interception. There's Lou.
These mistakes will kill you once you're out of confidence.
First and 15. Kruger's pass is intercepted. Price. Zone 32, little flip pass here to Noah. Noah stiff arms one tackler, gets to the 35, some open space to the 40, 45, spun around, and gets to the 50.
He had his man beat, but he stared him down the whole way.
First and 10 after the pick. Pickard wants to go down the field, has a man. It's Franklin who makes his first reception. Now an empty backfield. Lanuzzi will depart. Pickard down the middle, has a man wide open. It's Neven who makes the reception down to the 20, and he'll get it easily down here. Pickard up under center. He's going to throw. Pickard's pass is cut by Brown on the slant. He's going to have the first down, still on his feet, fighting for yards. He'll be stopped. Oh, it's a touchdown. And from the 11, Pickard going to give to Williams. Williams will bounce outside, trying to get to that corner. Williams will get into the end zone for a touchdown. And from the 11, Pickard going to give to Williams. Williams will bounce outside, trying to get to that corner. Williams will get into the end zone for a touchdown. Second and long, 2nd and 9. Kroger over the middle. This ball will be complete. No, it's intercepted. Picked off by the Rebels. They'll bring it back the other way and forced out of the air again. Pickard, his throw is going to be intercepted. Nobody there but Lewis, his third of the afternoon. Lewis taking it back the other way. Gets it to the 50-yard line, still on his feet, pushed out of bounds. Kroger wants to pass, and he's hammered. Sacked. The ball is loose, and it will be his Sun football, but in the middle of the field. Snap good, hold good, kick is up, and it is good as well. A 31. Atwood's kick is up, and it is good. A 28-yard field goal. Pickard back to pass. Here comes the pressure. Pickard will escape from that. Pickard still looking for somebody, has nowhere to go, and he'll be out of bounds. And will rush 4. Pickard wants to go to the air, nobody there again. Pickard rolls to his left, or right, pardon me, throws it to Williams right at the sideline. Makes the,
so I think you'll see him.
Pickard going down the field. This one will be intercepted. Picked off. 17 is the final.
It's always fun to see a late interception, and the DB wants to run it all the way back, and everybody else is yelling at him, just get out. We've won the football. Quarterback just gives a little bit more of a threat to run. But again, we're in good shape with 2 quality quarterbacks and different styles, but